Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I got to start out this edition of Raw, and I got to give a big shout out to the UGC, to the NBBC, to Speak Your Mind Sports Talk. Let's get it. IOTBA. We got to show love. Subscribe to all of these good brothers. They bring the real, the heat, and non-biased. But let's just break it down, and we got to start getting these fanboys. We got to start. We just got to start ripping. So let's just run through a quick roll call. Salute to Paco. I see you. Ray, I see you. Augustine, let's go. Angel Santos, my brother. JJ, come on now. Imlo, I see you. Jay, Chris W, what's happening? Let's get raw. Al B, Junior Estrella, salute. Abraham, salute. Will, salute. Let's just go ahead and get it because we're not going to play with them. And it's time to give them that real. Chin Smoke, salute. I appreciate you, Chin Smoke. You're a real one. Twin Kicks, Remy, salute. Intensify, salute. Ruby, salute. Kevin, Daniel, Punch Quote, salute. KC, I see you. Salute. Now, KC is always putting in that work. Salute. Miguel, salute. Now let's go ahead and get raw because it's time. It's time once again. It is that time. It's right about that time. And we're not going to play with these fanboys. We're going to be honest and unbiased, and we're going to give these people what they actually want to hear. We're going to give them what they want to hear. We're going to give them the truth, what they don't want to hear, actually. So let me go ahead and give them the truth. Terence Crawford called out Floyd Mayweather Jr. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? Errol Spence Jr. Mugshot got these haters sick. Got them sick. They're mad at me that Errol Spence Mugshot was made available to the public. Don't be mad at me. Be mad at the police department for releasing it. Don't be mad at me for giving the truth. Don't be mad at me. And if you're a fanboy and you got a problem with me, you got something you feel you need to get off your chest, step up and you're going to get backed up. Come on, step up now because I know you're listening. I know these fanboys with this false narrative want it. It's free smoke over here. It's free smoke over here. It's free smoke. Let's go. It's free smoke. We're ready for anybody. We're ready for anybody. We're ready for everybody. Let's go. It's free smoke. Who wants some? Who wants some? Because what we're doing is we're waiting on the real. Who wants some? We had a lot of people saying they wanted to go back and forth. Come on now. Come on now. Who do we got? The link's in the chat. So if you want to jump on, jump on. The link is in the chat. How many buys do you think the pay-per-view is going to do today? The Wild Ortiz pay-per-view buys, I don't see it doing too much. UGC, feel free to jump on, my brother. The link's in the chat. Anybody want some smoke? Step up. Truth is the new hate. IBFP Raw. UGC Boxing Channel. Subscribe. This is the real stuff. Fanboys, if you're in the chat, come get it. Mando Solo, salute, my brother. Salute. 80,000 buys. I say, you know what? I'm going to be nice to him. I'm going to say 175,000 buys. I'm going to say they get every fanboy they got. If we're being real, we're probably saying, 18,000 buys, but I'm being nice today. So I'm going to give them about, let's say 90,000 buys, 180,000, 175,000 buys. I think that's what we can do. We can give them that. We can give them that. We can give them that. Uh-oh. We got the man, the myth, the legend, the real Thanos in the building. D. Jefferson. What's up, my brother?
What up, Nuke? I appreciate that introduction, bro. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, man. You know what? I'm feeling a little salty. These haters got me a little irked, man. They had to say some really disrespectful things So I really want to get them all queued up, man, and just go right at them. Just go right at them, bro.
Let's get in it, bro. Let's get to it. We debunking all hate, all narratives. We gonna get in them today, brother.
We about to hurt some people's feelings today, man. And I'm gonna let you step in, give us your Wilder Ortiz prediction first, and we're gonna start with your prediction, and we just gonna move out because I know everybody want to hear the Wilder Ortiz. If you ain't seen Speak Your Mind Sports Talk, go subscribe. UGC, go subscribe. If you ain't seen, IOTVA, go subscribe. These are the real channels. DT3 NBBC, go subscribe. This is real unbiased boxing talk. Salute to Barker Raider. D, what's your prediction, my brother?
All right, so I got Wilder in 5. I'm in the predictions league, so that's the prediction that I put in. Wilder in 5 by TKO. I don't believe in Ortiz hype. That these guys out here, they're trying to hype him up so that when Wilder beats him, like we know he should, then they're gonna make Wilder be this big superstar champion. But it's all BS, man. He should beat that old man. We know these Cubans arrive with no birth certificates. We don't really know how old they are, but Ortiz is definitely older than they're saying he is. And man, look, Wilder's going to stop him earlier and easier than he did in that first fight. I'm not ordering the fight, so whatever the pay-per-view buys numbers are, they ain't going to get one from me. I'll tell you that right now. Wilder's going to stop the dude, man.
That's a good breakdown, D. I appreciate it. And now, right now in the building, we have Just Keep Punching. If you have never seen these guys' channel, check it out. These guys are two of the most informative boxing minds there is. Please introduce yourselves, fellas.
This is Alan.
Hey, Nuke. This is Alex. How you doing? Thank you for having us on.
Thank you, Nuke.
Always. And what are you guys' prediction for the Wilder Ortiz fight? How do you guys see this fight shaking out?
I'll let you go first.
I think with any rematch, when you have Joe Louis, Max Melling, Joe Louis got him quicker. Rocky Marciano, Jersey Joe Walcott, Marciano got him quicker. I'm picking Deontay Wilder by mid-round stoppage, maybe anywhere between the 4th and 6th. When he lands that big right hand, I think it's going to happen.
Ooh.
I think it's going to happen. I think he's going to put him to sleep.
Now I'm going to go with I'm going to go out on a limb here and go with Ortiz, and I'll tell you why. He's a dangerous puncher. Both guys are dangerous punchers. This is really going to come down to who lands the first clean shot. It could go either way. Wilder, I think's confidence might be slightly shook a little after the Fury fight. It's the first. Yeah, he got Brazil, but Brazil, come on. I mean,
that's right.
That was expected. But I'm just going to go out on a limb. I think it's 50-50, but I'm going to just go ahead and say Ortiz.
And you know what? I think if Ortiz gets to him early, do you think that matters if Ortiz got to get to him early, or if Ortiz can let it go late?
If it goes in the upper rounds, Wilder's going to get it.
I think if it goes past 6 rounds, Ortiz is toast.
Yeah, what's he like? I mean, he says 40, but come on.
It's debatable.
We know that's 44, 45 probably.
Right. For my man there that picked Ortiz, I want to tell you this. I absolutely respect that decision, and a lot of people, I just picked Wilder. We all got our own opinions, guys, you know what I mean? But I do respect what you're saying about Ortiz potentially winning. Some of the people in my prediction league, they picked Ortiz as well. And let's just face the truth, guys. Ortiz is a better boxer, and that's clear. That's clear and plain. So if he can get Wilder into trouble early, I would say like maybe around 3 or 4, then I can see that happening. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act oblivious to the fact that Ortiz can win that. I just don't think that. But respect to your opinion, bro. Respect.
Thank you. You too. And you may very well be right. I mean, I can see it going either way, honestly. But it's a puncher's fight. But, the one thing Wilder, he's got a bomb from hell. I mean, the guy can whack. There's no getting around that. And he throws it. One thing that makes him so good is he's not that great a boxer technically, but he does things other heavyweights aren't used to or expecting. He may throw 2 or 3 right hands in a row. He'll throw punches back during an exchange and take chances other heavyweights won't take.
Now let me ask you guys this. Now we got the Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz fight coming up next, and a lot of people are talking, and that's only in a few weeks. How do you guys see that fight shaking out? You want to start D and then let Alex and Alan get into it? D, you're on mute. Let me get him off mute.
No, it was my bad, Nuke, because I was typing. I didn't want y'all to hear all that. But yeah, I'll start, no doubt. Nuke and I. This is my brother, man. First channel I ever subscribed to. And we have had a ton of back and forth about AJ. But one thing about it is I hate on no fighters, man. Boxing first, boxing second. You understand what I'm saying? And so when you be realistic about this fight, and this is just my opinion, immediately after the fight, you could see that AJ understood he lost. He put a video up talking about it. And his level of focus, in my opinion, has been second to none. And he's been focused since the loss of this fight. Andy Ruiz, his focus came on a lot later. I mean, he was visiting the Mexican president. He was traveling, spending up all his money, eating Jello shooters off of strippers' bellies and all of this nonsense. And so his level of focus came on a lot later. And, this is half a mental game, guys. You know what I mean? And I just think that AJ is in it to win it. We know that this dude is probably, arguably one of the best heavyweights as far as being fundamentally sound, technical in this era. He is. And I think he's going to come take his belts back. I have not decided what round because it could potentially go the distance. So I haven't decided what round, but I'm pretty firm on AJ taking his belts back. That's my prediction.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What do you guys got?
I could see that. AJ definitely, I know from some of his videos I've seen, he's definitely slimmed down, seemed to be more focused on his boxing rather than lifting weights. And I think he's going to come more disciplined with more gas in the tank. But I think ultimately Ruiz has a better chin, and it could come down to kind of as with any heavyweights who lands first. And I don't know if AJ stays on the outside and boxes clean and doesn't give up his height, doesn't give up that distance like he did in the first fight, get caught in a war, he could win the fight. I agree, he is the best, fundamentally best boxer in the heavyweight division, in my opinion, as well. I agree with you on that.
D, I agree. I agree with you, and I think Anthony Joshua is better for boxing stylistically. How he matches up with future opponents. I hope he wins.
Yeah.
Having said that, I think stylistically, Ruiz is a bit of a problem for him. Now we'll see on the night what happens. It's heavyweights, big guys. Who knows? But Ruiz he's a little awkwardly clever, and he really is explosive and fast for a heavyweight inside. I don't think he's a one-punch puncher like Joshua. I don't think he's got as big a punch. But if he can hit you with 3 or 4, he can hurt you. And we'll just have to see. But I hope AJ wins, and I think if he's focused right, and if Ruiz is let it go to his head slightly, then I think AJ will probably pull it off.
That's a good prediction. The way I kind of see it is I see it as a 50-50 fight. As long as Anthony Joshua doesn't, just like you guys were saying, if he doesn't give up his height and reach and he boxes on the outside, boxing smart, see, each fight is its own individual war. So, you can't approach Andy Ruiz like you approach Klitschko with massive amounts of weight and muscle and trying to go to war with the guy. With Andy Ruiz, you can't fight a guy who can let off 6 punches while you can let off 1 or 2. You're just never going to win that battle. And so it really comes to that. If AJ gets trapped into that war, he's toast. But if AJ is smart from the outside, he wins that fight. And you know what? I think that's why Usyk versus Andy Ruiz, I think Andy Ruiz is tailor-made for a guy like Usyk. I just think that because Usyk is so fundamentally sound and smart. I mean, I don't know. And then a lot of people say, who's the best heavyweight? You just heard that Lennox Lewis said that he believes Deontay Wilder is the best heavyweight. I just don't see it. I could understand an argument for Fury. I can understand an argument for Ruiz, AJ, Usyk, but I just don't see how Wilder is. Yes, he has a one-punch knockout power, and he's always going to be in any fight. He's dangerous, but he's always in danger of getting knocked out himself because he's so fundamentally flawed. I mean, so who do you guys have? Everybody, we're going to do a round table. Who's the best heavyweight in the division right now as it stands on how you see it?
Well, I'm gonna start this off. And you already know, hey, listen, one thing about me, if I got a little bit of bias with me, I will admit it. Hey man, I'm a Fury fan, so I'm going with Tyson Fury, bro. That's my man. I like the way he moves. He's tall, he grabs well. One thing about the way he wraps you up, a lot of people got to understand is that weighs on these heavyweights, man. Yeah. Fury's a tall guy. He'll wrap you up and grab you, and that weighs on it, takes your energy away. And then that herky-jerky movement, if you watch his fight with Wilder or you watch his fight with Tom Schwartz, man, the way he misses those punches, it's not easy to get to Fury. His footwork is second to none. So, again, it's a little bit of bias there, and I respect everybody's opinion, but I'm going with my guy, Fury.
Woo! Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, as far as just raw punching power, Fury's not,
he's not in that
he's not up there. But the guy, he's one of those guys, he's just a winner. I mean, he just finds a way. He's going to adapt. He's going to adjust during the fight. He's just a winner. Right now, I see him as the number one guy to beat.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Definitely Tyson Fury is a fundamentally better boxer. He's more of Ali, and Wilder's more of a Max Bear. He's got that big punch, but he's willing to let it go, and he's had success, and he's a winner too.
Okay, D. Now we got someone challenging you about Tyson Fury. Dre Spec boxing in the building, and he said, "What are you talking about, Fury? You got to be kidding me." He must have seen the last fight, seen how Fury had some issues going on, because Fury's always, his style is he facing a volume puncher. That's going to be a problem for him.
Well, I'm glad. Much respect to you, Dre. I know that you one of these Wilder fanboys, man. Come on, let's tell the truth about it. But look, I'm gonna tell you like this, man. Every fighter, all the greats have faced adversity, and we have to be perfectly honest. If Otto Wallin did not cut Fury in that third round, it would have been a totally different fight. And not to make excuses, much respect to Otto Wallin, Fury was the one who allowed himself to be caught like that and cut open. Okay, so that was a flaw on his part. But if you notice how Fury reacted to that type of cut, and the way he changed his whole game up in that fight, this shows you the level of adjustment in Fury, because we're not used to seeing Fury go after someone the way he was. Like, he threw all hell to the wind and was like, look, I got to fucking stop this guy. Now, he didn't get the stop, but if you're going to be honest, that was probably one of the most action-packed fights we've seen Fury in, because his fights are pretty much lackluster. He moves away. He confuses a guy and he doesn't get in there, but he went after Otto Wallin. Okay, that cut was 2 seconds away from being stopped. So Fury understood that because it came from a punch, if that fight was stopped, he loses by technical decision. And so for all of you guys that want to say this about the Otto Wallin fight, here's another thing you have to understand. When it comes to prospects, and this is what people don't know, these fanboys and groupies out here, they don't understand this. With a prospect, you don't know. You don't know if he's going to be great. You don't know if he's a bum. You don't know anything about him. That's why he's a prospect. But just because he was unknown, everybody's like, oh, Fury went there and went life and death with a bum. How do you know he was a bum? Well, he was pretty impressive against one of the best heavyweights in the division. So how can you honestly call him a bum? You understand where I'm coming from? So, again, Dre, I know that you one of these Deontay Wilder fanboys. Let's be honest about it. But that's what I got to say about that Wallin fight. So can it? Just can it?
Well, I think Tyson Fury, too. I mean, he's one of those guys that he has a little bit of the fight up or down to the level of competition a little bit. A lot of great fighters have done that. Look at Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson had harder fights sometimes than he should have with guys he was a much better fighter than. And sometimes he even didn't take it serious enough and lost, but he came back and creamed him in the rematch. And, I know it's a different weight division and all that, but who beats Tyson Fury? I mean, realistically, who's going to go out there and just walk through Tyson Fury?
And he's a big guy. I mean, I've never seen a big guy in the history of boxing. I've never seen a guy of that size who has that kind of endurance, has that natural boxing ability. I've never seen it. I mean, I know he's not a puncher, but man, he can box, and he's got endurance of a guy who's much smaller.
He's got great natural fighting instincts too, and that's important.
And I thought that last fight showed something in Tyson Fury, because a lot of guys with that bad of a cut, they wouldn't have been the same fighter. I mean, that was kind of a question mark I had over Tyson Fury, and I'm glad we got to see that.
And it's those type of wars that show you what type of fighter you have. I think Tyson Fury is probably the best, I guess, how do I say this, in the heavyweight division, probably the most skillful heavyweight that's proven. Compared to Usyk, I mean, there's a lot of people can make an argument for Usyk, but until we see him in there with everybody else, it's hard to really determine if he's the most skillful. Right now, Tyson Fury has it, and Tyson Fury also has a height and reach advantage over pretty much everybody in the heavyweight division. Right. So he's going to cause all kind of problems for everybody. The only problem with that is that he's not a big power puncher, and in the heavyweight division, power rules the case. So if you look at it like this, Deontay Wilder could enter a tournament with everybody and win the entire thing simply because he has that right hand. And that's what makes him dangerous. But because of Tyson Fury's skills, that makes him probably the most tailor-made and suited to beat Deontay Wilder in any given night, because he has the ability to go 12 rounds. I don't think Anthony Joshua would be successful going 12 rounds with Deontay Wilder. I just don't. I think AJ can beat him, but he's going to have to get to him early. I think Ruiz could possibly hurt him, but the only thing I don't like about the Ruiz-Wilder fight is he's giving up such a massive height and reach, and Wilder's so unorthodox. I don't see how Ruiz gets in and hurts Wilder. I just don't think Wilder's going to bend down and let that happen. What do you say, Alan?
And Ruiz has a little bit of a bad habit. I hope he breaks, and that's standing straight up on the outside. You can't be a statue, not even for a second. When you're in range of these guys like Wilder, you better not be a statue, because that right hand might finish you.
Yeah, and this is one thing I want to say too, guys. And I know that this probably will make these Wilder fanboys and groupies happy. But I've always said this: you got to respect Deontay Wilder for something here. He is not your traditional boxer. He's not fundamentally sound. But sometimes in this sport, you have a boxer and you have a fighter. Okay, Wilder's a fighter. And he that right hand is a freaking heat-sinking missile. That dude knows how to get it in there. There's been plenty of boxers that came in there with Wilder, and they were literally beating his ass. But he found a way to get that right hand in there. And so, I call him a knockout artist / specialist. He's going to knock you out. And the problem with Ruiz is, I think he would test Wilder to the body, which we haven't really seen Wilder extremely tested to the body. But like my man over here said, that standing tall, man, you're like a fucking bullseye. You're a target for him. And with Wilder's length, the way he has that wide stance and can get in and out, he'll time that right hand. And look, AJ put Ruiz down. Wilder puts his ass out of there. And that's the fact. So I just, that's what I say about Wilder. That's why he's so dangerous. That's why he's amongst the top of these guys. It's not because of his, fundamentally skill of the sweet science. It's because he's a fighter and he knows how to get that right hand in there. It's just that simple.
Hold on, D. I have to step in there. Dre Specker is back at it again. And he said Fury would easily get beat by AJ. And I'm going to tell you guys this. I think very highly of AJ. I think Anthony Joshua, at times has shown he's the best heavyweight. He's collected the most belts. He's done incredible things. I don't think anybody beats Tyson Fury easy. It's simply not. If you beat Tyson Fury, you're going to have to earn it. And you're going to have to go through a lot to get it. Because Tyson Fury is going to counterpunch you and put the jab in your face all night. He is going to make you earn it. It's not going to be an easy win, whether it's Wilder, whether it's AJ, whether it's Usyk, Ruiz, anybody. I don't even think Ruiz matches up at all with Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury has an elite jab. He's going to keep him at the end of it. He's never going to be able to get inside to work him. So, I mean, what do you guys think about that? I think that was aimed towards you too, D.
Yeah, I know it was aimed toward me. And what we do here on IBFP Raw, we cook these groupies and these fanboys. Dre, you probably one of these same guys that thought Spence was going to go in there and easily beat Porter. But you don't learn your lesson. You don't learn your lesson. See, you don't understand boxing, because there are certain fighters where they're not going to be an easy fight for anyone. And when you can actually look at a fight and know what you're looking at. See, Dre, I don't think you know what you're looking at. See, I've been watching this sport for over 35 years. My uncles used to be boxers. I was taught at an early age how to do correct film study. You know, what they're doing in that ring and why they're doing it. Dre, you don't understand any of this. And I know that you don't understand any of this because you said that Fury would be an easy fight for anyone. So you're a fanboy. You're a fanboy and you're a groupie. And what happens to groupies and fanboys on this channel? You get cooked. Throw you on the grill and you get cooked. You don't know what you're looking at, so you can't make that assessment. Next.
Right. All I gotta say is too, if you think that's true, watch what happened with Fury fight Klitschko. Watch what happened when AJ fight Klitschko. I know he got Klitschko, but it wasn't easy for him. I mean,
well, Fury's at his best when he fought Klitschko with all those just constant feints. I mean, the guy's already big. He's awkward. He's got reach that can reach you across the stadium. I mean,
he's not an easy fight for nobody.
He's not going to be easy for anybody. And he's tough. Takes a good shot.
And now I'm going to put it like this, guys. This is really interesting. We just sent an invite to Dre to jump on if he want to debate you guys on this because, honestly, I think that's just so far away. Tyson Fury is probably the most difficult fight in the heavyweight division. I don't think Wilder is because Gerald Washington won rounds against Deontay Wilder. Arthur Spilka won rounds against Deontay Wilder. Everybody that fights this guy wins some rounds. He just needs to face a big enough puncher that can put him down early and they can win the fight. That's why people thought, hey, that's what's going on. We got Alejandro in the building. Let's see what he got to say. So
hey, what's
Alejandro.
Up?
Hey,
what's up, man?
Sorry, my English is not the best because I'm from Mexico City. But I will try to share some of my. I know you're talking about heavyweights right now, but I want to tell you I'm very disappointed of Luis Panterita Neri because I was expecting his fight against Manny Rodriguez, but he didn't make weight again, and I'm just so disappointed because he was one of the best Mexican prospects, in my opinion. I don't know what you think about him.
Now, I think he's a very special fighter, but the only thing is I might need you to get out and jump back in, Alejandro. That Mexican Wi-Fi is kind of tearing us up right now. It's kind of getting us a little dangled right now, man. We just jump out and jump right back in, brother. It's hard to understand you. Jump out of the chat and jump back in. Okay, let's keep it going, guys.
Yeah, was he talking about Neri? Talking about Neri?
Yeah, the connection was really bad.
Yeah, I will say this, and I hope Alejandro can hear me. I like Neri as well. Okay, but this is one of those syndromes where these fighters don't understand you need to move up. Okay, Neri has an extremely hard punch, and he can box. Look, test yourself. I'm so tired of the boxers in this era not being willing to test themselves. He needs to move up. Stop killing yourself trying to make weight because number one, you're draining yourself, and you would probably be better and more suited at a higher weight because you're going to feel better. You're going to feel better in that ring. A lot of times when these guys drain themselves down like that, they lose power, they lose speed. You understand what I'm saying? And so why are you killing yourself? This is the second time, guy. I mean, move up, improve yourself. But he's probably scared to do that. And so that's my knock on Neri. I think he's a good fighter, man, but you need to move up. If you keep missing weight, move up, prove yourself. Don't be another Tank Davis that stays down at a weight that you can't make. You understand what I'm saying? Move up. That's what Neri needs to do. He needs to move up.
Now, what do you guys think about the Neri situation?
I agree with you. Well, if you're not making weight, you can't make the weight, move up. I mean, the guy's got 30 fights with 24 knockouts. You got the power, move up.
Well, this draining yourself, dehydrating yourself so bad in modern boxing is a problem in a lot of areas because it's actually not that good for your health either. I mean, the rehydration around your brain and stuff is not even right within 24 hours or something. They could fix this weight problem in boxing, the will to do it and the money and the turmoil it would cause for the first year is just not worth it to them.
Now, Now, let me ask you guys this. 160 pounds is probably the hottest division in boxing right now. You have Canelo Alvarez sitting at the top of the hill at 160, and you have the other top guys. You have Demetrius Andre, you have Jamal Charlo, you have Triple G, and then you have Jaime Munguia, who's just now been introduced to 160. He's going to fight Spike O'Sullivan. I've been telling people, I think Spike O'Sullivan's a good fighter. He packs a pretty good punch. I don't think he's as easy as people think he is. I think Munguia should win it, but you never know. His defense has shown to be linky. You got to see if Eric Morales can tighten him up overall. What do you guys think about Jaime Munguia introducing himself to 160 pounds against Spike O'Sullivan? And can he get a belt off of anybody? You want to start with it, D?
Sure. Here's what I'll say about Jaime Munguia. And it's his biggest flaw, and in my opinion, the most of his problems. He's defensively irresponsible. And when you talk about moving up to 160 or moving up from any weight class, you're dealing with more power. You're dealing with a bigger punch. If you look at the fight with Takashi Inui and Dennis Hogan, they gave him all he could handle. They gave Jaime Munguia all he could handle. Well, dude, if you go up to 160 with that nonsense, getting smacked around with that nonsense, you're going to be stopped. So I think their main focus should be getting him to parry these punches, to move his head, get off of center line, because Jaime Munguia will throw punches and he will remain on center line. When you do that, that's saying, hey, hit me back. That's exactly what you're telling these guys. You're throwing a punch. Okay, no, hey, hit me back. He can't do that at 160 because as much as people talk down about a Jamal Charlo, he'll crack him. As much as people talk down about Canelo, we already know he'll crack him. You know, even Demetrius Andre, he'll crack him. And Demetrius Andre is hard to hit. So what's going to happen with Jaime Munguia going up against an Andre is he's not going to be as efficient in hitting Andre, but Andre is going to be tapping him up. And this is more power. This is more power. So if they can address, lateral movement, head movement, and, like I said, parrying these punches, Jaime Munguia, the sky's the limits for him. But those are three things that they definitely have to address with this kid moving up to 160.
Yeah, Munguia, I think, can he beat Spike O'Sullivan? Yeah, I think so, probably. Spike O'Sullivan's a tough fighter.
Yeah, but he's already been, he got laid out by Dave Lemieux in his last fight.
Yeah, he blew it.
He's kind of damaged good,
He froze. But, against the other top guys, no. I don't think so.
I agree with Dre.
I don't think he's ready, and I just don't think it's the right.
His defense is not there. If he's, like you said, if he stands straight in the pocket, he likes to throw combinations like what you said earlier, and he'll stand straight up instead of using head movement, getting out after he throws the shot. He stands straight there for a check to bounce back on him.
Yeah, if you wait for a receipt, your opponent will give you one.
And any of those guys you just named, if they give you one, that might be all you get.
Good night.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this. Who is the best fight for Canelo Alvarez to fight next? Who do you guys think that he should fight next? He's the face of boxing. He's the guy that's 175. He's not campaigning at 175. You got Beterbiev as a monster there. You got
Yeah, I think that's a bad matchup for Canelo. I don't think the thing with Beterbiev is that he's not a better boxer than Canelo. No. But what Beterbiev does really well is those short inside hooks are crucial. And that's what Beterbiev does really well. Now, Canelo's a good counter puncher, but Beterbiev just hits too hard. But as far as who should Canelo fight next, it's two fighters in boxing right now that I tell everybody just shut up. They can do what they want to do. One is Pacquiao and the other is Canelo. It doesn't matter who he fights next. Both of these guys are active, competing legends. As soon as they retire, they're going into the books. So Canelo can do what he wants. The thing is what's the biggest fight? What's the biggest fight? What's going to pay the money? That's pretty much all they have to decide at this point. Now, I would like to see Canelo go to 168 and challenge one of those champions, and then that would gradually move him back down to 160 and clear out those guys, because Charlo is not going to beat him. And so for all of you Charlo fanboys, come on at me, because I know y'all going to. Charlo's not going to beat him. Canelo will beat the hell out of Charlo quite easily, okay? GGG, he's going to get pummeled. BJS, he's going to get pummeled. Okay, Andre would probably be his toughest competition at 160 because the guy is hard to hit. I still got Canelo winning, but let's say Benavidez, Callum Plant, or Charlo. And the reason I say Charlo, guys, is because he's big on the other side of the street. Okay, so this is a fight where he can put all of that nonsense to bed. Just go in there, beat the hell out of Charlo, shut the fanboys up, and then move on. But other than that, I would much rather see him fight someone at 168 and gradually move back down to 160, because I think it would be a mistake for him to just drop back down to 160 after he's packed on all that muscle to get up to 175. So, you know, probably Benavidez or Caleb Plant. And I don't want to hear all of this nonsense either about Benavidez's age, because if y'all don't remember, how old was Canelo when he fought the best in the game? Okay, he was a young fighter. So kill all of that about Benavidez being too young. Once you become a champion, you know more prospect, you got to fight champions. So Benavidez, Caleb Plant, or Charlo.
And how does Canelo do against Callum Smith? That's from John.
Callum Smith, you know, that's actually a good fight too, but, you know, we were asking for my preferences. Against Callum Smith, because Callum Smith's a big guy for 168. He can actually move to 175 himself. So, you know, I still got Canelo beating him. It would be a good fight, though. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say Canelo will just go in there and walk through him, because Callum Smith is going to offer a little more than Kovalev offered Canelo in this last fight. So that's a decent fight, John.
Okay. And what do you guys think, Alex, Alan?
I'm pretty much right down the line with D on this. I mean, I think he's saying exactly what I would feel about
it. He don't want, I mean, Benavidez, he with his amateur pedigree, Benavidez fought, I believe he fought a heavyweight as an amateur.
Oh, wow.
The guy's a puncher, man.
He can accidentally knock you out.
And he has skills. I know he got hurt in his was it 2 fights ago? Benavidez got hurt.
Yeah.
But he showed his boxing ability after he got hurt. He stepped off the gas and started using his boxing ability, and he got rid of that guy.
Yeah, but I don't
That's
think
a dangerous fight. It's not worth it. He ain't got the name to make it worth it. I mean, not in America.
I don't think Canelo's going to take that fight.
It's not worth the risk.
Now, I will say this. You know, BJ Freeman says, I actually think the Charlo fight would be closer than what people think. And I just have to – I feel completely different of that. It's because, you know, there's a reason why Jermall Charlo is not interested in fighting a guy like Demetrius Andre. There's a reason why he's not calling out guys like Billy Joe Saunders, because those guys have certain type of skill sets that does not favor a Jermall Charlo. I thought Matt Korobov got the best of him. If you ask me my honest opinion, I thought Matt Korobov, you know, really did him in that fight. Even if you said that Charlo won the fight, you admit that it was close and a lot tougher than we thought it would have been. I think that Charlo is just not proven at the level at 160 pounds to be that type of fighter. You see, he's not moving up to 168 to snatch a belt, or definitely not 175. Callum Smith, I think, will probably be Canelo's toughest fight right now out of 160 and 168 to 2 pounds. I think Callum Smith has height, he has reach, he has power. He's probably the most proven, probably the best champion, you know, at 168 because of what he's done in the World Boxing Super Series. I think Callum Smith would be it. And Callum Smith is also talking about possibly moving to 175 and facing a Sergey Kovalev next, too. So he's open for all the big fights. I think Callum Smith is the toughest fight for Canelo Alvarez. I mean, what do you guys, you want to chime in on this Charlo situation?
Yeah, I do. And much respect to my man, BJ Freeman. BJ Freeman's my man. So it's not like a Dre situation where I'm attacking a fanboy, because Dre is obviously a fanboy. But BJ Freeman, he actually knows boxing, man. And much respect to you, BJ Freeman. When it comes to guys that know boxing, like BJ Freeman, I can respectfully disagree. You know what I mean? And this is why I say this. Korobov, of course, troubled fight. That if you're at the level where, you know, they hype you up to be, it shouldn't have been a trouble fight. But the biggest thing for me is the reality show star, guys. This man went 12 rounds with a reality show star in Adams. This man is a contender winner. He was supposed to go in there and stop this man in 6 rounds or less. If you're the fighter that people claim you are, you have no problems with Adams. And if I'm not mistaken, Adams was traditionally a 154 pounder, guys. He came up. So Charlo, I'm not impressed. And you talk about fighting a guy like Canelo with his skill set, nah. He'll beat the hell out of Charlo. And I really feel that he'll beat the hell out of Charlo. I would say that Charlo would have an extremely tough fight with Daniel Jacobs. Now, I'm not using the triangle theory here, but Canelo beat up Daniel Jacobs. You know, Charlo has to prove himself. You know, J-Rock is probably the best on his resume, and that was at 154. But at 160, who have you fought, buddy? Who have you fought at 160? Like, I just don't see it. I don't see it being a big problem for Canelo. And I want, as a Canelo fan, I want Canelo to go in there and beat this dude up and kill everybody's misnomers about Charlo being any type of competition for Canelo.
What do you guys think, Alex, Alan? Do you think Charlo is a real tough competition for Canelo? Do you think it's close, far? What do you guys think?
At this point, no. I agree with Jefferson. I don't think he don't belong in a ring with Canelo at this moment. Give him David Lemieux. I know Lemieux was having trouble making 160, but give him Lemieux. Lemieux hadn't been there. He's kind of a journeymanish type fighter. Let's see what happens if he gets in the ring with someone like David Lemieux. I mean, that would be a step up at middleweight to see if he's legitimate or not.
Well, a little side topic. The one person I don't want to see Canelo fight is Billy Joe Saunders. I'm not personally interested in that fight.
I disagree on that.
Yeah, I kind of disagree too.
I disagree on that.
Yeah. Alex, after Saunders' last performance,
But he's one of them guys, though. He fights to the level of his competition. He gets better depending on what he's in the ring with. And we know Canelo had trouble with Lure and Austin Trout. He has trouble with that. And Mayweather, don't even bring that up. I mean, he's got trouble with that. That's the guys who can box. He's had trouble in the past with guys who can box.
Right. And I don't think that BJS will beat Canelo. And I'm not really being biased here, but I just think that he'll offer some problems to Canelo. His movement's good, you know. So and I agree with my man here. Like, BJS is one of those guys that sort of like my guy Fury, you know, fight to the level of competition. And so he'll step it up in that ring with Canelo. You know, he knows that that's the biggest fight of his life. So he's not going to come in there sleeping or silly with it. You know what I mean? He made a lot of mistakes in that last fight, but I don't think that BJS would make those kind of mistakes at all fighting Canelo, because he knows he's going to pay for that. So I'm actually interested in seeing that fight if it happens.
Let me ask you guys this. Let's start with Vasyl Lomachenko, because now he's probably the most hunted man at 135 pounds. A lot of people looking at him. You got Teofimo, you got Devin Haney. You know, you got some big names looking at the guy. Tank Davis, I don't believe he wants any part of Vasyl Lomachenko. I just don't think Gervonta Tank Davis wants any part. Who's the biggest threat to Vasyl Lomachenko right now, guys? Or no one. That's also a response too. I mean, maybe you don't think any of these guys come close to what Loma can do.
Well,
Mikey's not one to move down and fight the guy.
Right. Well, Mikey is 2 steps out of boxing, in my opinion. Well, I'll talk about that later. But considering Lomachenko and who would be the biggest threat for him, you know, these guys, most of these guys at this division are, at least the names, they're just over the prospective level. I mean, you can't call a guy a prospect once he's won a championship. So talking Tank Davis and Devin Haney didn't really win it, but you know, he's a contender. He's not really a prospect. Teofimo and Kami is getting ready to face each other, so they're out of the prospective level as well. But I would have to actually say, in my opinion, the toughest fight for him would be Richard Coleman. Coleman would be the toughest fight for Canelo. Now, I'm a Teofimo fan, big Teofimo fan, and I'm hoping that Teofimo gets in there and lands that shot and put Kami away. But I think because what Kami brings to the table, he's pretty lengthy. You know, he has a good chin that and killer hook. You know what I mean? I think that he would be a problem for Canelo. We've seen Canelo. Not Canelo. I'm sorry, Lomachenko. We've seen Lomachenko face adversity before. The Linares fight, per se. Kami, you know, in my opinion, beats the hell out of Linares, so he'll offer Lomachenko all he can handle, in my opinion. I think that's his toughest fight.
Devin Haney's not ready.
No,
in my opinion, based off the last couple of fights. He needs more time to season and grow, But like you said, Comey and Lopez, they're going to fight. We're going to see who wins that fight, and whoever wins that fight, whether or not the biggest threat towards Limo or not. I think Lomachenko beats those guys unless he gets caught by Comey, who can punch. And Lopez, we'll find out what he can do at a championship level when he steps in that ring and fights Comey. And as far as Mikey Garcia, I agree with you. He's on his way out. I mean, he chose to either take the chance and losing to a bigger man and not looking as bad and getting that payday, or moving down to a lower weight or fighting Lomachenko and losing to a smaller man, and he chose the bigger man. He thought it looked better, in my opinion.
and me personally, I think right now, just nobody touches Lomachenko right now today. Now that might change over the course of the next year or two, but
Anytime you have 396 amateur bouts, you're going to be a little burnt out. So, I mean, it's just a matter of father time catching up to Lomachenko. When he steps in the ring one night, he's not going to look the same. Maybe it was the Lenore's fight. He did get knocked down. He did get hurt.
But he got up and he handled it super well, and he couldn't have got caught.
But I had him losing that fight, though. I thought he was losing that fight going into that round. He stopped Lenore's.
I think I have to give my opinion on this. I think that Lomachenko is probably one of the best fighters in the world today, and he's going to be a tough out no matter who fights him. I don't think a guy like Gervonta Tank Davis is going to beat him. I know a lot of people think Tank will beat him because he has a lot of power. I guess people are just expecting a big shot from Tank. I just don't think Tank has enough experience to land that shot against a guy like Loma, because Loma is going to punish him, in my opinion, throughout that fight. I just think Loma's just too skilled. He's going to punish Tank. And then I look at a guy like Teofimo. Teofimo actually has a pretty good pedigree boxing-wise. And you know what? A lot of people beat him up about the last guy that he fought, took a lot of punishment. But you got to understand, this guy has a huge, enormous height, reach advantage, was strong, had a great chin, a lot of experience, undefeated. Wasn't an easy fight. I still favor Loma to beat Teofimo, but I think Teofimo has a very good chance if he can land that shot. Because you have to think about it. Teofimo's a power puncher. And if you look at what happened to Loma, he said Luke Campbell, he was stunned in that fight. He was dropped by Linares, and he was hurt by Salido. So if you look at all the times he's been in a big fight that he's been hurt by a volume puncher and by someone that can really crack. And so imagine somebody that can really crack, and Campbell's not the biggest puncher. Linares is not the biggest puncher. And, Teofimo hits harder than both of those guys, in my opinion. I think that's what makes him such a dangerous fight. I think Devin Haney's a dangerous fight simply because of his height, his reach, his boxing acumen. But, that last fight, a lot of people doubt him. The only reason I still think Haney's right there in the conversation is because his last opponent had over 170 amateur fights, was undefeated, was a very strong fighter, and he came to survive. He almost got stopped in the 5th round, I believe, and he came to survive the rest of the fight. He was not looking to engage. He was simply looking to go the distance. And Devin Haney, I think he threw out his shoulder in that fight as well. It's been reported that he's going to have to get that healed up and maybe even have surgery. So it's not going to be as easy as people think. I think Loma has two fighters that's going to really bring him problems. That's Teofimo, that's Devin Haney. But I can understand how you would still favor Loma in both of those fights.
Yeah, and real quick, let me piss some more fanboys off, because that's what I do. I love to do it.
You gonna say Ryan Garcia?
No. I'm getting ready to dig. No, Ryan doesn't have a chance against Loma. I'm getting ready to dig into this Tank Davis situation, and all of these idiotic fanboys that think Tank Davis is going to do this or that. Let me tell you guys something about Tank Davis and why he has no chance, in my opinion, to beat Lomachenko. It doesn't matter the level of potential you have. You have to hone those skills. And you only hone those skills by fighting a higher level of competition. Tank Davis is not trying to do anything. He's not fighting nowhere near to the level of his competition. You're not going to get better. It's like when you play video games. If you play on easy all the time, and then you play against someone who's good at that game, they're going to beat your ass. And that's what Tank Davis has been doing. He's been playing Mike Tyson Punch-Out on the easy level. You know what I mean? So when he gets in there with a skilled fighter, they're not going to just allow him to walk in there and have his way. They're not just going to allow him to walk in there and do the things that he's done against these low-level fighters, older fighters on their way out the door, or guys moving up the weight to fight him.
Hold on, D, hold on 1 second. I don't want to interrupt you, but I got to do this. Dre is just on a roll right now on you, and he says, I need to make more videos.
No.
D. Jefferson has no real points on how a fighter actually accomplishes the win. You want to address that, D, because he's really throwing a lot of shade at you right now.
You know, that's like, you know, I call Dre New. You know what I call guys like Dre. He's a freaking chat warrior. Dre, you're a chat warrior, bro. And if you don't think that I have any content or don't know how to break down fights, that's because I told you before. You don't know what you're looking at. You're a groupie, bro. You're a fanboy.
And we'll give him an opportunity to defend himself. Dre, I put the link in the chat. If you want me to put it in again, step on here and debate these guys.
Yeah, Dre, it's easy, bro. You can come right up on, click that link and get body bag. If you're too scared to get body bag, I have something called D and JB's debate cage. It's a one-on-one debate. You can come meet me in the debate cage. If you're a little scared and shook up because Nuke is here and just keep it punching is here, and you don't feel like, oh, these guys are just going to double team me, then come see me in the debate cage. Either way, I will body you. You know nothing about boxing, and I can tell by your silly comments. I can tell this, okay? I forgot more about boxing than you know, dude. It's just that simple. And it's pretty much like this for any boxer, not just Tank. You have to compete with higher level competition to get better, okay? Tank's not doing that. And he's walked up to 135 with the same foolishness that he was doing at 130. He's come here and he's going to fight a Gamboa. Gamboa is ranked 19th. Tank's ranked higher than him, right? Okay, so check this out. There's 17 other guys he could have fought to prove himself, but he's not doing that. Gamboa is being sent in there to be knocked out. He's chinny, he's old, he's lost a step, and Tank's gonna stop him. Okay, so I would love to debate you because you're easy work. Easy work. You don't even want this, so just keep chat warring and doing what you want. You can keep coming at me, but you know I called that out. I was gonna get some of these fanboys a little bothered, and clearly I got one bothered. Thank you, Dre. Thank you.
Alan, Alex, what do you guys got to say about this? You guys want to speak on Tank? You want to speak on any of this stuff? Loma, is he, you know, this greatness, does Haney, anybody? What do you guys think about all this?
Well, I think just right at the moment, Lomachenko's at that point where he's in the zone. He's kind of untouchable right now. It is boxing. One punch can change anything, anytime. So, you know, maybe some of these guys give him a really good fight, good run for it, but right now I think he wins. And, you know, as far as Gamboa, we're talking about a Gamboa second.
Yeah, Tank Davis is going to fight Gamboa.
Yeah, well, Gamboa, to me, Gamboa always had a suspect chin. I mean, you go back when he first turned pro, I was suspicious of him because he was getting hurt by bums. He was knocking those bums out. He was winning the fight. But if you clipped him anywhere around that chin or jaw, the guy was on Queer Street. You know, he was sparred for a little bit.
I would be more excited if Tank Davis was fighting Tevin Farmer than I would be watching him fight Gamboa. Just on Farmer's boxing ability would make it interesting because, yeah, I agree with Jefferson. I mean, Tank Davis is a puncher. He's fundamentally a puncher. I mean, he falls into that trap. He believes in his own power. He hasn't had the chance to develop other skills because he believes in that power so much that when he steps up in the ring with Lomachenko or some of these other guys, he could be in trouble.
Yeah, and you're right on point, dude, because
what happens when the power doesn't work?
I mean, I know from experience when I was boxing, you do not, even sparring, you don't want to spar guys that are at your level or below. The guy below your level, he can't help you at all. He'll get you a good workout if you want to beat somebody up. But, I mean, you need to fight guys or even spar guys that are a notch or two above where you're at. That's how you get better. You don't get better being complacent.
You guys are absolutely right. And, you know, I got to address Stephen Melvin. He said a very interesting comment. He said, I call AJ a bum because he can't fight Wilder. Ortiz is more like a real fighter and becomes an immediate threat. Stephen, you know, and I don't mean this with any disrespect, but I just got to kind of clear up a few things. AJ can't be a bum. He was a unified champion. He's beat some of the best boxers in the history of Vladimir Klitschko, Alexander Povetkin, Dillian White. He's got some top names on his resume. He's no way, shape, or form a bum at all. And Luis Ortiz, how is he a real fighter? And he's never been a world champion, never had an elite level win. let's just be honest and unbiased. That's just lunacy. I cannot see a comment like that and not go off. Like, that makes no sense. You're making Alan cringe over here. Like, he can't see you call a former unified champion a bum. That makes no sense to me. I don't understand how someone can say that. That makes no sense. AJ is far from a bum. It makes zero sense. Anthony Joshua was an elite level fighter who lost the fight. Lennox Lewis lost fights. The best of the best have lost fights. You guys want to chime in on this, man?
I damn sure want to chime in on it because, Nuke, my brother, you already know that we've been back and forth on AJ. But to call him a bum, are you borderline retarded or something, bro? Do you understand what this boxing thing is about? I mean, this is just absolutely nonsense to call someone like AJ a bum. And I'm a Fury fan. I've already said it. I'm not a fan. Like, I'm not a AJ rider or fanboy or anything like that. But you have to give respect where respect is due. I'm not a Wilder fan. I used to be at one point, but, you know, I kind of gave up because of the way he's moving and the nonsense. But listen, guys, you have to respect these fighters. Remember, boxing first, boxer second. And to call AJ a bum is absolutely ridiculous, okay? And to a certain extent, I agree with AJ when they say that people are maybe pumping Ruiz up just a little too much. You know what I mean? Every great fighter, let's forget about this whole Floyd thing where the must not go and all of this dumb shit. Listen, every great fighter has faced adversity. All the greats in the past have lost. My man here just brought up one of my favorite fighters of all time, Ray Robinson. He had 20-some losses on his record, but he's arguably one of the greatest of all time. AJ took one loss, you idiot. One loss. Right. So why don't you just wait and see what happens in this rematch? And if I'm correct on this, which generally I usually am, everybody don't get them all right, but I get a lot right. And I'm telling you now, when he comes back and beats Ruiz, then where's your bum theory? Which your bum theory is already out the window because you don't go undisputed, the only undisputed champion, because I know you're a Deontay Wilder lover by making that comment, but has he even unified yet, moron? He hasn't even unified yet, but you want to call a guy that held 4 belts a bum. You know, your ideals, you idealistically are a bum. So stop talking about boxing.
Hey, Alan, what do you guys think about this bum comment here? Will you guys want to dig into this?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'd like to give respect to anybody that climbs in the ring. I don't care if it's the lowest level amateur. Ain't nobody gets in that ring that's a coward. I mean, you deserve a certain amount of respect because let me tell you, I've seen tons of guys who won't even get in those ropes. You know, they're the baddest dude in the neighborhood, but they will not get in them ropes.
For one fight, I mean, Anthony Joshua was a former Olympic gold medalist. Was Oliver McCall a bum when he knocked out Lennox Lewis? Did he get knocked out by a bum? I mean, anyone who steps in that ring is not a bum.
That's
they
right.
Come to fight.
No, and they don't give you those belts.
Anybody at that level is not a bum. That's insulting. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you can call Anthony Joshua a bum, whether or not you like him or not as a person.
Because he's a fanboy. That's why. He's a fanboy and a groupie. That's the definition of a fanboy and a groupie. You call good fighters. Listen, in this era of heavyweights, and I've said this over and over again, this is not our best era of heavyweights. So you have to look at this era of heavyweights. And he's one of the best heavyweights, you idiot. So how is he a bum? Like, you make no sense with that comment. None. And I bet you're a Wilder fan and think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Come on, man. Get out of here. Just get out of here.
Now, guys, we're going to have to turn up the heat just a little bit because now we get to the welterweight division. We start talking about the guys at 147 pounds, Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, Yordenis Ugas. We talk about Sean Showtime Porter. We talk about all the guys in the welterweight division. Here's my thing. Terence Bud Crawford just called out Floyd Mayweather right now on Twitter. He called him out. And here's my thing. If Floyd Mayweather keeps coming back, it's my opinion that I don't really want to see the guy fight anymore. Like, I just don't. I'm not interested in any of his fights. But if you come back, fight somebody like that. And the reason why I say that is if you're going to come back, fight somebody like that because that's going to be a fight that people really want to see. I don't want to see you in another publicity stunt. I don't want to see you fighting a guy who's never boxed before that's crying after the fight. Fight a guy who's boxed. Fight a guy because I don't want you to pad that record anymore. He's going to become a fraud if he does that. Come out here and fight a guy like Terence Crawford. And I've been seeing people all over the internet saying, oh, Floyd would destroy Terence Crawford. If you think Floyd destroys Terence Crawford, you don't know anything about boxing, because at this point, at his age, he's not going to walk through Terence Crawford. That's a different fight. I'm going to get all of you guys' takes on it. But first, we got to add Dre Spective Boxing in the building. Dre, salute for coming on. Salute.
Hey, look, hold on. Let me say hello to everybody. Hello. But D, come on, man. Soon as somebody said an opinion different than yours, was the first thing you mentioned. Oh, he's a fanboy. Man, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm very opinionated. But you just immediately, and you'd have done that to a few people since I've been in this chat. Oh, the fanboy. They just a fanboy.
No, only you.
You only called me out, but the notion of what you're saying, was different from what somebody else was saying. You calling them fanboys because they don't believe in what you. Fanboys like you. That's what you said. If they don't believe in what you're saying. But hey, go ahead. We can debate on any topic.
Well, no. You charged me with a couple of topics, so break them down. That's what I need you to do. Break it down.
Okay. Start at the heavyweight, wherever you want to go. Wherever you want to go.
I think the Charlo topic was the one you guys had the most problem with, the Charlo topic.
Okay, the Charlo topic. And what are we saying? Like, who has he had to face since he's been at 160? He hasn't really had that opponent at 160 that he could fight, because Triple G and Canelo been tied up. When Canelo, and then y'all give Canelo so many passes on a lot of different stuff. When Canelo had the chance, y'all said he was a champion, he should have fought Triple G the first. Should have fought Triple G. I'm glad you use that analogy as for Charlo. But what I'm saying is Canelo was the champion, and you saying that I'm saying that Canelo was a champion. He could have fought Triple G the first time, but he vacated that belt, so he didn't have Triple G as a mandatory. So Canelo is done. His career ain't just been, he walking through champions or he just fighting the best top competition. That has not been the case. That is a myth. That is something that you are fabricating. You're making up.
Hold on, right, let me step in this. I got to answer to that, because you know what? At the end of the day, when you see Canelo Alvarez, tell me when Jermall Charlo was ordered to fight Canelo Alvarez.
He was going to be the mandatory, or he always been the mandatory?
I don't want to hear his answer, but no. Was he ordered to fight Canelo? Yes or no? We're just going to deal in facts.
Okay,
yes? No. And so he was ordered to fight Triple G. That was his mandatory. And then he just had an opportunity to fight a Demetrius Andre. He said, what would fighting a Demetrius Andre do? What the hell would fighting a Dennis Hogan do? Why are you fighting a dude coming off a loss when you could have fought Demetrius Andre? That don't make any sense. That's indefensible. I'm going to let you and D get back on this, but I just can't have it. That's nonsense. When you can fight the best, stop trying to protect your record. He's trying to protect his record by avoiding Demetrius Andre, because that's a dangerous fight. You're calling for Canelo, but a lot of people forget, before Danny Jacobs got the Canelo fight, he beat 4 undefeated fighters in a row. He went and fought Sergey Deverenchenko, who's no easy task. And Sergey Deverenchenko's been calling out Jermall Charlo. He does not want to smoke. He's saving his oath for Canelo Alvarez and for a payday, period. But you go for it.
That is the politics of it. I'm not going to lie to say that that's not a part of it. It's so many politics, but I'm just saying it's not politics on one side. It's politics on both sides. Canelo has earned his right to choose fights now. I'm not against that. I agree with that. I believe that he's done enough in the sport, and he is the cash cow of the sport. So, yes, he can pick fights. But it has been a time when it was opportune, a time where he could have fought tougher opposition, and Oscar has absolutely shed him from all tough, up-and-coming fighters, especially, and I know he has the trouble with this, black slick fighters. And I'm grouping in who I'm trying to think of, the Cuban.
Lara.
I'm grouping in Lara with that black slick style that Canelo has always had. He had problems with Trout until he hurt Trout. That athletic slick style Canelo has always had problems with. So I didn't say Charlo is gonna beat Canelo, but I can tell you that he can give him problems. And especially at 160, the reason that Canelo doesn't like fighting at them lighter weights, because Canelo really does not like doing that cardio to get down and starve himself. Canelo is a short but big guy. He's always been around, hovering around 190. You can look at him and see it. He's always been that guy that's very high up in weight and was coming down. And you talk about weight bully. I've heard y'all say this too many times. Canelo used to fight at 147. Imagine that.
Well,
Just
hold on.
imagine that.
Hold on. That's where he started. And so guys always start when they're at the beginning of their career. When you talk about weight bullying, anytime that's ever been mentioned for me in regards to Errol Spence, this guy is basically 30 years old. This guy's not at the beginning of his career. This guy's not at the beginning of his career, and he doesn't move up in weight because his skills won't translate to 160. Errol Spence could make 160, but he won't be able to compete with anybody there. And I was telling everybody this before the Sean Porter fight. Before the Porter fight, when people said, hey, Errol Spence would walk through, Errol Spence would be a tough fight for Canelo Alvarez. I say, you're crazy. He has no chance against Canelo. Canelo would walk him down and stop him. This is the same guy that was hurt against Sean Porter. He was hurt against Sean Porter. Sean Porter's not a fighter.
You saying at 160?
160, yes. He's not competing with Canelo in any way. Period. D's over here drooling at a chance to step in this. I got to give Alex and Alan the turn. You guys, Alex, Alan, you jump in, guys. Say your piece, and then D, you shoot with it, brother.
Yeah. Well, I got to agree with D. Respective, and on one account for sure is Canelo should have fought Triple G back when he appeared to kind of wait a couple of years on him. And I'm not stupid. I mean, they were waiting for him to age a little bit, along with the money and other aspects. But I agree with you there. That's something that should have happened at that time. I don't know if it would have made much difference, but I think it would have made some difference.
As far as the weight bullying, it seems to be that's the common trend nowadays. A lot of the fighters are doing it. A lot of them are doing it.
Yeah, but gaining back, okay, you gain back 6 pounds, you gain back 8 pounds, you gain back 9 pounds. Some of these guys are coming in 18 pounds, 20 pounds, sometimes 21 pounds.
That's like that Munguia. He does that. Didn't he come in his last fight like 175 pounds?
Absolutely. He came in a light heavyweight.
Fighting junior.
Jared Hurd is another one.
Yeah, Jared Hurd. Yeah.
All right, so let me do this. First, I want to say this, Drake. Much respect to you for jumping on here, bro, because I have a problem with chat warriors, and you actually you had the nerve to come up here and step up and talk about it. Okay, so I give you respect for that. But with all that being said, you probably shouldn't have came up here. Now, let me dig into you a little bit about this Charlo situation. I don't want to hear the politics of the things, okay? Because when you come out your mouth and you say, oh yeah, Andre, that's a good fight for me, I'll fight him. And then you come out not even a week later and you and your ridiculous coach said, ain't no sense in us fighting Andre. What is he worth to us? Have you heard of unification? Like, are these fighters in here to unify titles? So how you going to say you'll fight him, then you don't want to fight him because he's not worth it? But unification is on the line. See, and then if you sit there and you fight this champion and fight that champion, then you kind of force Canelo to come fight you because now you're bringing something to the table. But he's not bringing nothing to the table. What these guys are doing is sitting there and they're all yelling for one champion when they could be competing against each other and force Canelo into a fight. So the politics don't really have a damn thing to do with him not wanting to step up to the plate and get done what he needs to get done. See, when Danny Jacobs approached him in that hallway, that boy got tongue-tied. You remember that one? That boy got, it's my turn now. That boy got tongue-tied. See, he could have fought Danny Jacobs long ago. Politics ain't have a damn thing to do with it because Danny Jacobs was ready to give him that smoke, bro. Danny Jacobs was ready to give him that smoke. See, you can make excuses for Charlo and then try to down what Canelo's done, but that ain't going to work here. And see, I called you a fanboy because of the statements you made, not because you disagree with me. It is not about when you sit here and try to pump up Tank. Break down for me because I broke down for you what Tank is doing wrong. I broke it down pretty good. So you break down for me what Tank is doing right because that's why I called you a fanboy, not because you disagree with me.
What I'm saying, what was your? I didn't even have a Tank. I didn't have a Tank like opinion that was different from your opinion. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay, well I know you made a couple of statements.
I can give you some opinions about Tank, but I'm just saying, what are you talking about that I had that was different from what you said about Tank?
Well, I don't know. I know you made a couple of statements, and if I called you a fanboy, it was for good reasons. Okay, what did you say about Deontay Wilder? Did you disagree with what I said about Wilder?
That's what it
Well,
was.
speak on it.
As soon as I
Speak
said
on it.
something
Speak
about
on it so
Wilder,
I can
that was
break
my
it
first
down.
comment.
Speak on it.
My first comment was about Wilder. Soon as I made the comment, it was a different opinion than what you were saying. Then that's when you called me a fanboy. But in any case, let's get to Deontay Wilder. Let's go back to the heavyweight since they are the topic of the day anyway. Okay, Deontay Wilder, to me, when y'all was going over the conversation of who's the best in the heavyweight division, you cannot give me a stronger case than Deontay Wilder. He's the only one that hasn't hit the ground in those top five. He's the only one who has knocked out every opponent that he's faced. He's defeated them within the time. Except, but y'all gonna say Tyson Fury, but let me tell you something. I watched the count. I watched the count over, and I watched the count over again the day after, just to see what happened during that count. It's a long count, you know what I mean, and that's just. But it goes down in the books as a tie. I'm one of the people who had Tyson Fury winning some of those early rounds, not all of them. The way that some people will make you believe that Tyson Fury was so high on points that when he got knocked down, he still should have won. No, that's not the case. It was a closer fight than what it was. But Deontay Wilder always has the equalizer, which is that it's tremendous power. It's tremendous power, man. That neutralizes a lot of different skills that other guys have above him.
Okay, I'd like to be the first to respond to this now, and then I'll throw it to Alex and Alan, and then I'll throw it to D. And my whole thing is, how is Deontay Wilder the number one? Because that's the argument here, is that he's the number one heavyweight out of everybody. And you said you were focused on the count with Tyson Fury. Were you focused on that same count with Wilder and Luis Ortiz, that the time was taken away that he could recover? Like, Luis Ortiz was the one that was dropped in that fight, and he didn't get to see. Did you see a doctor come to him and give him time to make sure that he was okay? Why did they come to Wilder and he wasn't down in that fight, but Ortiz was? That doesn't make any sense. So the fact that Luis Ortiz got dropped and then Deontay Wilder was allotted time by the doctor and the ref to be examined and checked out, you don't feel like that's not a huge asterisk on that fight? Dre?
No.
How was
I don't think it's a huge asterisk. He never hit the canvas. He never touched the
so
ground.
why was he checked out by the doctor? Why was he allotted time? The fight should have just kept going.
Okay, I can agree with you that the fight should have kept going, but I don't believe that is ultimately, oh man, if he wouldn't have got checked out by the doctor, then he would have lost the fight.
Hold on, but that was a few seconds added, right? That he got to recover that he may not have had. So if you look at it the same way with Tyson Fury, and you got to understand, and you got to also understand, a referee's count is not an exact 10 count. That's a referee has sole discretion on how they count. And so that's completely different. Me counting the 10 is not the same as a ref counting the 10. Those are two different things. You have to understand that. So Tyson Fury dominated that fight against him with the jab. He hurt Wilder. He had Wilder tired. If he never hurt Wilder in that fight, Wilder would have been all over it. He had to keep him off with some strong shots, believe it or not. But I'm gonna throw it to Alex. I'm gonna throw it to Alex and Alan first, though. Alex, you guys want to step in?
Yeah, I watched that count back myself very carefully, and I thought it was legit. It was close. It was close, and he's lucky because a lot of modern referees might would have called it, but they might not have given him the benefit of the doubt. I'll put it that way. Because, you see referees nowadays that don't give you much chance sometimes. But I thought he beat the count. And I thought he was clear-headed enough to continue. But it was close.
Yeah, and I agree with your respect on Wilder. He's by far the biggest hitter in the heavyweight division. I agree with that. He's more like the Rocky Graciano versus the Tony Zell. These other guys are better boxers. But he's the biggest puncher per punch, in my opinion. But is he the best boxer? Do I have him at number one off the power alone and the skill difference? I don't. I think that a prime Tyson Fury, one that had fought top level guys going into that, would have done a better show that night, as well as Joshua. If he don't get caught, he's probably going to win the fight on ability, and Joshua can punch. He might not punch as hard, but he can punch hard enough. But that's just my opinion. So.
And I agree with that. I think Joshua punches harder than Luis Ortiz. And if Luis Ortiz stunned you, if Tyson Fury stunned you, if Eric Molina stunned you, and don't forget Eric Molina stunned him. Don't forget that, Drake. No, don't think
that's right.
You know, if Molina can stun you, the guy that was terrified of Anthony Joshua, you know that if Joshua gets to him early, styles truly do make fights. And you know, that's pretty much it. But I mean, D, go ahead and go get him.
All right, Dre. So first and foremost, Nuke is right. Yes, Tyson Fury, which we know don't have the hardest punch. Yes, he did stun Wilder. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you said you watched the fight, but you must not have watched close enough. When Wilder knocked him down, bro, the reason when Fury got back up and he couldn't finish him is because Fury got back up, popped his ass, and stunned him. Go watch the fight. Stunned him. That's called getting stunned. Wilder kind of wobbled back, and he couldn't finish the fight. Now, here's something. Famous quote by my man Jay-Z, and I know you listen to Jay-Z. I know you listen to Jay-Z, right? Men lie, women lie, numbers don't, right? So just take a look at this. Can you see this? Take a look at this. I want you to take a look at this. So what this is displaying is basically, there's the count. Now look at the clock, Dre. Look at the clock on the long count that you claim, and every one of these fanboys of Wilder claimed was the long clock. Watch the clock. Up on his feet. Up on his feet. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Point blank, bro. You can cry long count all you want, but it was just right there for you. That's receipts, my man. So stop the nonsense. Stop the nonsense.
Great. Your response.
Yeah, I won't make an excuse for Fury. Like I said, I thought it was a good fight. It was called a draw, but I think it was a close fight, and I believe it deserved to be done again. We'll probably see that.
Hold on, Dre. Hold on. One question for you, Dre. One question. I'm sorry to interrupt. I apologize, but just one question. Who did you have winning the fight on your scorecard? Fury or Wilder? Knockout stuff aside, who did you have winning the fight on your scorecard?
And I had Wilder edge in my, but that is because of the knockdowns. You know what I mean? That is because of some. I'm telling you what it was. That included with the knockdown. But it was a closer fight than people probably would have thought because they didn't understand Tyson. They don't understand that he's also an athletically big guy. He throws a lot of punches because he doesn't have like that punching power. But that guy works hard, you know, and is very like that bob in motion. But it's a bob. It's not like a bent over bob like Mike Tyson. It's more so of a stand up, and he's not there for to be hit by those taller guys. So. And he does a lot of grabbing. He's a very crafty guy up in the ring. So I believe in Tyson Fury. I would say Wilder is number one. Between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua would be number two in my opinion, because I believe that Fury and Joshua. I believe that Fury is could pretty much beat anybody, but I believe that Joshua just beats Fury. But I believe it's a lot of other fighters that beats Joshua because he doesn't have the chin. But I think he's not in threat to be getting knocked out by Fury. So that's the thing. Like if it was a Fury versus Anthony Joshua fight, Anthony Joshua is not gonna be hit with those same weltering shots that he could take from some dangerous heavy hitters from Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury just doesn't have that punching power. He doesn't have that pop. You see it in his fights. He's not really knocking nobody down with one punch knockout power. He's a guy that really gives you a lot of work throughout the fight, and he gets he breaks you down. Kind of like Earl Spence, huh?
Well, Iba Hauser says to you, Dre, who invited R. Kelly to the chat? You trapped in the closet, Dre. To call that one. I almost started crying when I read it. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Now, let's get to this Errol Spence talk. Everybody, you want to give your analysis on it real quick? D, Alan, Alex, Dre. Who want to start? You want to start, Dre?
You talking about his career up to the point before the accident, or
his career going forward?
I don't have a clue. You know what I mean? Everybody's playing down that accident, but that's a serious violent accident. I looked at it the morning that it happened. I got a text alert woke up and looked at that accident, and I seen the video a couple hours later. Well, I heard about the accident, and immediately I thought, hey, the worst, critical condition. Then I seen the video a couple hours later, and I was like, I promise you, in me, I was like, man, there's no way that guy survived that. And this is before any reports said he was okay. Man, that initial thought is looking at that crash and seeing the way that it flipped, and then they said he was ejected from the car. I couldn't even imagine anybody surviving that accident. And I immediately thought the worst. And I was thinking about too soon for, a top fighter, with the world ahead of him, that looks crazy. So me being able to judge how he can move forward going past this, man, that's it's almost, he needs a tune-up.
You're okay with the tune-up fight right now. No top-level fight, a tune-up fight.
And so that is what I don't understand. Like, what are they going to do with him, moving forward with his career? How is he going to look mentally? How does he react to punches now? How does he, what I mean? It's a lot that goes into that, not just what you see or what you would think, just work out and then you go into the ring and you're able to fight at top level fights and stuff like that. That's not how it works out. We seen that with Keith Thurman. I thought Keith Thurman was one of the top fighters, but coming off all of those injury after injury and long layoffs, you seen the way that he came back. He was very rusty. And probably not ready for a Manny Pacquiao, which I thought he would have won that fight. And I was very proud of Keith the way that he did compete in that fight. But coming back from all those long layouts and injuries, that stuff does affect you. Just like you argued with Kell Brook. Kell Brook did have a broken eye socket to fight before Earl Spence. That's gonna affect you coming back. You're gonna you may move your head a little bit more to the left than you did before. Just in the reaction and reflexes, it may be slightly off with nerve damage or something like. I don't know what happened to him, so I cannot look forward in the future and tell you how that guy's gonna look. I mean, we have to see. We have to see when he comes back.
Okay, D, you want to take the next one?
Yeah. Now, here's something that we can agree on. I agree with Dre on this. And actually, that's what I'm working on, is why I keep going on mute. I'm getting ready to put a video up about this Errol Spence situation. Listen, man, I'm not even one to talk about him moving forward in the future, because Spence's camp and none of us really know what the extent is of those injuries. I mean, getting violently jerked around like that, you can have spinal injuries, you can have neck injuries, you can have nerve damage. And if he was to come back, another thing I agree with Dre on is that, a tune-up fight is very valid. It's no sense in bringing this man back to fight a Crawford or Pacquiao or one of the guys at the top, because if he's not ready to compete again at that level, he's just going to go in there and get beat the hell out of. And when you talk about a guy like Terence Crawford, he is a real competitor. This guy doesn't want a half Spence. He doesn't want a part of Spence. He wants the full-fledged ready Spence so that he can go in there and beat him and prove something. He doesn't want a Spence that's coming in that's not himself. That just adds to an excuse that can be offered. But, listen, man, I just got to say this about Errol Spence. The most important thing, because I'm a huge Spence fan, is this man's health, man. We just had 3 fighters die this season, okay? Maximum Dadashev, rest in peace. Hugo Stantolin, rest in peace. Patrick Day, rest in peace. And Deontay Wilder himself says this all the time. We're risking our lives jumping in that ring, guys. And it's a fact. So what I don't want to see is, as much as Errol Spence has done, or the lack of what he's done, what we don't want to see is him get in that ring and not be able to go home to his family. So, I don't really want to push or, push for or push against any narrative concerning Errol Spence. Let's get the facts, because right now all we have about Errol Spence is pure speculation. Forget about Mauricio Suleiman. This dude is the biggest, most corrupt liar of any sanctioning body in the sport of boxing. I don't care about what reports he comes out with and say Errol Spence is okay and he'll be back in March. That's complete bullshit. He doesn't know what's going on. None of us do. And until we find out that this guy is completely healthy and ready to compete, yeah, he should come back to a tune-up fight. Hell, even Danny Garcia, who's arguably one of the hardest punchers at the welterweight division, I don't even want to see him come in there and fight Danny, because Danny's a hard puncher and a great counter puncher. He can hurt Spence. So yeah, he needs a tune-up if he comes back. But let's find out if this man's health is on, top level before he comes back and take on any of these challenges. And that's just how I feel about the Spence situation.
Good breakdown, D. What do you guys think, Alex, Allen?
Well, I agree with D and Dre on this topic. I mean, err on the side of safety. I mean, why take the chance? I mean, take it easy, bring it back like it needs to come back, because like D's saying, I mean, boxing's a very dangerous sport anyway. I mean, these guys, sometimes referees step in and the casual fan don't understand, hey, he jumped in too quick, Well, yeah, if the guy's standing there defenseless, you can't stand in front of these level fighters and take 2 or 3 clean flush shots in a row. It can kill you,
True.
So, err on the side of safety. Spence has got too much promise, too much potential to risk by trying to rush something.
What do you think, Alex?
I agree with that. I mean, thank goodness he's alive. That's the first thing I was worried about was, first thing that came to my mind was, I don't know if you're all familiar with Salvador Sanchez, but he died in a car crash like that when he was real young, before he had the chance to really, really become a great one. A lot of people thought, could have been. I'm one of the people too, because he was terrific. But Earl Spence, way too much promise. Give him a tune-up fight if he's able. Give him somebody light. Let him get some rounds in. See what's there. I mean, they'll know when he steps in the ring to spar with the top-level sparring partners. They're going to know where he's at.
Yep.
And know what he's capable of. But I just hope and pray he's the same Spence. He comes back better and stronger, and we see hopefully down the line a Spence Crawford fight. If Lord willing, that happens.
Yeah, and I've known some fighters personally who had an accident, maybe bumped their head playing ball or something, or tripped downstairs. A week later, I know that's quicker, but a week later, something had a fight and died.
Right. And look at Diego Corrales, bro. He had that motorcycle accident. He came back. He was never the same. He was never the same.
Now
we need to be, clear that this guy is ready to fight, bro.
Now, the interesting thing about how all this happens is, if, like Wasi states, the IBF might end up stripping Errol Spence of his belt. So if he ends up getting stripped, I don't think the WBC would, because those guys feel like they can earn more money with him. But the IBF might. And if he ends up getting stripped, I mean, we're going to get a new champion. We're going to get somebody else to come in. And I think, honestly, for Terence Crawford, everybody wanted the Spence Crawford fight. That fight was marinated too long. That should have been looked to be made absolutely much sooner. But, they delayed it. So all you can do is what you have. And the way I look at it is, a lot of people are criticizing Terence Crawford about the Floyd Mayweather call out already. And my thing is, I think it makes sense for him. He needs a big name. People say he needs to raise his profile. Danny Garcia turned down an offer. Errol Spence is not looking to make an offer with him. And now he's already recovering on the road to recovery. So that's not possible. Sean Porter, he looked in his direction. Porter said he wants to tune up. Now he wants Manny and someone else. So, I mean, Crawford has nowhere else to turn, really. So at this point, why not offer Floyd Mayweather to fight? I don't see what's wrong with
Floyd Mayweather not stupid. That fool ain't stupid. He not coming there messing with Terence Crawford. I was a Floyd fan, but Floyd, one thing about Floyd, he picked his fights the right way. Okay? He went out fighting Berto. That dude ain't stupid. Damn well Terence Crawford would beat the hell out of him. He ain't coming back to fight no Crawford.
And what do you guys think about Crawford?
Oh, you saying not you saying right now, right?
Right now.
I'm talking about right now.
Right now.
Oh no. I wouldn't. I'm just asking, clearing it up. He's talking about right now, Floyd, but not prime Floyd.
This Floyd Mayweather right now that said he's making a comeback. Terence Crawford called him out. Will he take the fight? Will he be interested in that?
He not. You know why he coming back? He coming back. He put up a post with Dana coming back for UFC. It's not.
He's not coming back to boxing.
Him to beat up.
Yeah,
it's gonna be boxing. It's gonna be a boxing match again.
I want to say this, man. And it's probably gonna make some Floyd Mayweather fans mad, but that's what I do. I make people mad. So check this out. Floyd Mayweather it's a hoax. It's a ruse. Okay, Floyd Mayweather is I was a fan of him in boxing. I don't like the guy at all now. What Floyd Mayweather is doing is pulling the shine from these young fighters of the PBC, bro. This is just a hoax, you know? He's a hoax. Floyd doesn't want anybody to shine over what Floyd did. Floyd doesn't want anybody's name to become bigger than Floyd. Floyd coming back to boxing, that's pulling away from these fighters now. It's a hoax. I guarantee he doesn't. And if he comes back, he's going to fight a nobody that's completely worthless. Okay? Just like Deontay Wilder just called him out on this. Deontay just called him out on this, and I completely agree with Deontay Wilder that Floyd Mayweather doesn't want anybody to produce or do better than he did with the PBC, period. That's what this Floyd so-called comeback is about. Damn Floyd Mayweather. That's right. DJ just said it right here on Raw. Damn
Hold on. And Ron Boy Fresh says one of the truest statements. He said the best not fighting, not getting made at 140 anyway, 147 anyway, so Floyd should come back. And that's absolutely true. I mean, these guys don't want to fight each other anyway. We all know we feel like either Spence or Crawford is the best at 47, but Spence never wanted to smoke. It's always been Crawford pushing the fight. So at the end of the day, we know, Terence Crawford, these guys should be trying to unify. Danny Garcia should be trying to fight Terence Crawford. Sean Porter, he's the biggest name in the division. If you beat, Terence Bud Crawford, you're pound for pound and you got a belt. Why would you not take the fight? It makes no sense. Why would you not take the fight? Dre, you look puzzled or confused.
Man, and that goes back to a politic thing, man. I've been saying this forever, man. It's Bob Arum and Al Heyman. The way that they have been, at odds for all these years, they have basically shut the door on Terence Crawford. He has no opponent. It's like,
hold on, Dre. I gotta stop that narrative right now. That's a narrative. See, now, because I don't know if you know what's going on, is that the PBC, Al Heyman, and Top Rank are not only working on making the Fury versus Wilder fight, they're making the Fury versus Wilder fight, but the entire card, PBC versus Top Rank. If you can do that, you could do any fights. They simply do not want their fighters to lose against Terence Crawford. That's all. They won't even recognize the belt. These guys are talking about making a PBC belt. That's nonsense, bro. You can't say it's different sides of the street. Look at Charlo. Sergey Deverenchenko's with the PBC, and he's been calling out Jamal Charlo. He can't get the fight made. Don't tell me it's politics. These guys simply don't want to fight.
It's still politics.
They're on the same side of the street.
I'm saying, even if they're working together on these fights, that makes sense. It makes sense financially for both sides or one side. Then they're gonna still make that fight. But as far as you telling me that they're gonna make a Terence, when they can shut him up, they don't need Terence Crawford. And they got so many welterweights that they're making fight each other. I'm saying that politic of it is keeping us from seeing anybody else fight Terence Crawford.
That's not true. Dre, that's not true. I'm gonna tell you why that's not true. With Errol Spence being sidelined because of this needing a tune-up, is there a bigger fight that Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, your Dennis Ugas, any of those guys can get besides Terence Crawford right now? Yes or no? And we're not. No, there's not. There's simply not.
Manny Pacquiao may be the only one.
He's looking at Mikey. We're not even going to factor Manny in because he's looking at Mikey.
Manny Pacquiao is picking his fights too, so he's at that age and he deserves that too. So I understand that. But I'm saying that is the only guy that they still have is Manny Pacquiao that they match up with all the other top welterweights. Keith Thurman has to fight somebody. Maybe it's a Manny Pacquiao too. But the thing of it is, they won't let any of their fighters fight Terence Crawford. And in business, it don't make sense for them they trying to build that Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford, and I think they building it too fucking long. Like they don't have it 5 years.
You don't need to build something that's already built. It's already here. It should have been done. Now it's past due. You didn't mess up the fight. Just like you messed up Wilder versus Joshua. You're messing up the fight, letting it marinate. You got to make the fights. This is what's holding up boxing. The sport would be huge right now if you had
that's politics.
Right. Yeah.
And then
let me say this real quick, brother. Let me say this. And I was one of the biggest defenders because again, I'm an Errol Spence fan. Me and Nuke went at this topic before too. I was defending Errol Spence prior to the Sean Porter fight. Me and Nuke had plenty of debates about this. And I said, if he's going to unify for the WBC belt, I'm not trying to hear anything about a duck. You're not ducking unifying, okay? But He has to fight Crawford next. And if he doesn't fight Crawford next, it's a damn duck. So if it walk like a duck, quack like a duck, it's a damn duck. And as a Spence fan, shake your head all you want to. He ducked that smoke. Accept it.
And when you're talking about fighting a guy like Danny Garcia, who has no belt, who won't make you a pound-for-pound fighter, it's pointless when you could be fighting Terence Crawford. You could fight a unification. They don't recognize this belt for a reason. Alan, Alex, you step in this, guys. I know you guys to weigh in on this.
Yeah, there's no way in heck that Mayweather's going to come out of his silk sheets, his nice mansion, and get in this kind of shape he needs to get in to fight a guy like Terence Crawford. I mean, this ain't Conor McGregor. This is Terence Crawford, a top-notch boxer. It's not Conor McGregor. He played with, in my opinion, he played with Conor McGregor. What you saw was 10 rounds of Mayweather carrying a glorified sparring session before he wanted to get rid of Conor McGregor. And that's the fights he's going to look for. He's going to look for the WWE events. He's going to look for the money fights. He's at that stage in his career at 42 years old, where that's what he's in it for now, for the money.
Yeah, I think he's
already established his legacy. We know. I'm personally a huge fan of Floyd Mayweather. We know he goes down as one of the best fighters that ever lived. He's a good fighter. I mean, he's great. He was great.
A defensive genius.
Defensively.
But the thing about Mayweather to me is he's at a point in his life right now where he can be good for boxing in the future or bad for it. And he can be good for it by promoting these young guys, helping them out, making things. Don't mess it up by fighting guys that,
don't let
this guy over in Japan. I mean, these are spectacles. They're entertaining to watch, but they're not really contests. And I mean, as far as him personally, with the legs I see under him personally getting back in the ring with Crawford or something like that, not a good idea.
And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Terence Crawford needs an opponent, and I just like we all know, Floyd's not gonna want to face him, and we all know that Manny's really not interested in it. Keith Thurman is terrified of the fight; he's having nightmares. You see Sean Porter; he might be willing to do it, but you never know. He seems to want a Keith Thurman rematch, and all these other things. And Danny Garcia, he's turning down a massive payday with Crawford to take lesser paydays with Adrian Granados. So go figure that out. So, Terence Crawford needs an opponent. And you know what? I have a few opponents. He can fight Josh Taylor moving up from 140 to 147 in a massive fight. I think that'd be, if Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez unify, whoever becomes undisputed could face Terence Crawford. And both of these guys are 5'10". These guys are huge. So moving up to 147, facing a former undisputed champ, I think that's a good fight. Dre, what's your problem with the fight now, man? What's the problem? Those are great fights.
Those are smaller guys.
Right? Come on, man.
Hey, Terence Crawford has also made a career of picking on smaller guys.
These guys are bigger than him.
He was weight bully at 135. That's all I'm saying. He was weight bully at 135.
Is it weight bully at 147?
No, not a weight.
He just beat Jeff Horn in his first fight, a guy that everybody said he would struggle with, and he came in and Jeff Horn didn't win a round. Now we're talking about having a guy. So Jose Ramirez is bigger than Terence Crawford, and so is Josh Taylor. And both of these guys have special abilities they bring into the fight. Ramirez brings a lot of pressure. Josh Taylor's a very good boxer, and both of these guys are world champions, undefeated. And one of them unified undisputed. Is that not a good fight for Terence Crawford?
Just like I said, when Crawford came into 147, that he needed, lesser competition and, to work his way up into filling out at the weight. Everybody is not going to be that great special champion that can just jump from one weight class to the next and fight the champion of the weight class. People have to feel into these classes. And so I don't think that those guys will be competition for him. Smaller guys coming up in weight, not feeling out.
Hold on, Dre.
And working out at, fighting at that weight, 147.
Hold on, Dre. And that's starting to sound like you're not really, a boxing fan. It sounds like you're a Crawford hater. And this is why I say this. It's because, and let me explain this. I
said Crawford needed the same chance. He had to fill out at the weight.
He didn't need to. He came in and beat a world champion. He came in and beat a world champion. What are you talking about? No fighter coming. Hold on, just hear me out.
Everybody's not like that.
I understand that everybody's not like that, but you have to think if Jose Ramirez and Josh Taylor fight and one of these guys moves up as an undisputed champion, that's bigger than Terence Crawford. You think an undisputed champion that's bigger than Terence Crawford is not going to be a suitable opponent for him? That doesn't make any sense. A guy coming undisputed, beating all the other champions, all the belts. Come on, man.
Undisputed in a week 140. A week 140.
It's weak. It's 140 is weak. D, please step in. D, please. Please, D, please.
Probably as weak as it's probably ever been.
D, step in. I'm gonna let you get this next one. He
Listen,
said
140 is probably weak.
140 is weak. So Josh Taylor and Regis Prograis just went to war. Jose Ramirez is an excellent boxer. Bro.
Josh Taylor and Regis?
Yeah. How do you call this weak? How do you call this weak? Like, listen, man. See, these are the type of statements. So you get upset when I call you a fanboy or a groupie. But this is the type of nonsense that you say, man. And this is why I don't think that you understand the level of boxing, bro. What about Regis Prograis is weak? So before I dig into you, and I am, you tell me right now, I'm gonna let you break it down. What about Regis Prograis is weak? Explain this. Explain yourself. Explain yourself.
I just told you he unskilled. He has a great work ethic. He works really hard. But I got a guy here with me right now that actually was with him in sparring and in the amateurs, fought him in the amateurs region. Come on, man. And I guarantee you he can give you firsthand experience when he fought him. The guys, he just outworks everybody in the gym. He's not really that good of a look at him fight. He's not that fundamentally sound. He's skillful. He's athletic, but he's not. Look, come on, man. Don't give me no Regis. He's weak. That's a weak 140, man. There are no top fighters that I can look at 140 and say, damn, he transitions over to 147 and start giving guys problems. The top fighters problems. He can jump into that competition and do that. Yes, you can see it with Terence Crawford because of how skilled he was. You don't see that out of none of these guys at 140. Maybe if Mikey Garcia was fighting at 140, then you could give me somebody who could beat him, and then we can start talking about maybe it's more competition down there. But right now that 140 is weak.
Okay, and so you're talking about two fighters that are in their primes that are fighting and unifying to become undisputed. That's a weak division. Alex, come on, please.
I think real quick though. But you're calling a fighter that's weak that beat top level fighters like Julius Ndongo, Relic. He's 24-0. Are you kidding me, bro? He went into a war with Josh Taylor. These are not low level fighters. What do you mean weak? You're not even making no sense here. You're not making no sense at all, bro.
140 is weaker to me, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd like to see Crawford and Josh Taylor, but to me, the only difference in that fight is going to come down to the power, and I think Crawford's would get him. But I would like to see the fight. I think it'd be an interesting fight. It'd be a good test for Crawford. But
if Crawford had, I don't know, there was rounds there where he's fighting Jose Benavidez Jr. or he didn't look. I mean, he was in control of the fight. He won the fight, but I think a Josh Taylor fight would be interesting. I know Crawford came from 140 to 147. If he could do it, a guy with the pedigree of Josh Taylor, his amateur background, why couldn't he do it? And he's got a big frame. He's a big guy for that weight anyways. It would be an interesting fight. I think Crawford would win the fight. Don't get me wrong. I think he'd win the fight, but it'd be interesting.
I think he could do it, but like you said, I think that Crawford would win that fight easier because those guys haven't filled out at 147. They're not those guys that's going to try to transition to the top fighters at 147. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that he could just transition without having a tough enough competition at 140 to just transition to those top guys at 147.
And so Dre, hold on, let me answer. And Dre, I noticed your phone cut in and out because your phone doesn't even believe in the nonsense you're saying. These guys are undefeated prime champions that are going to unify for undisputed. This is nonsense. This is nonsense. Anybody that believes that don't understand boxing. These guys can easily transition to 147 pounds. Who at 147 can blow Josh Taylor out of the water? That can blow Jose Ramirez out of the water? Who at 147 makes it so easy that it's not even? And then don't you dare say Errol Spence. Don't you dare say Errol Spence, or I expose you on the spot. Who can blow him out of the water? Just name one person that blows Josh Taylor out of the water at 147. D's foaming at the mouth. Go for it, Drake. Name one person.
Crawford and Spence.
And I don't even think Crawford blows Josh Taylor out of the water. I think he wins the fight, but I don't think he blows him out of the water. And Errol Spence Jr. just struggled with Sean Porter. And he's nowhere near as crafty and tactical as a Josh Taylor is. He doesn't have the height and reach. We've never seen Errol Spence with a guy with the same height and reach that he has. We've never seen that. And we see how he struggled with a small Sean Porter who's not known for power. Cal Brook is not the same size as Errol Spence. And Cal Brook was coming off of a knockout ball and an eye surgery. So you talking about a guy coming off of a medical extension. It's a guy you want to compare to a prime fighter that's healthy and a world champion. Come on, Dre. This is casual hour. Come on, man. This don't make no sense. Alex, talk to him. Does anybody at 147 blow Josh Taylor out of the water? Anybody?
No, I don't think so.
Not blow him out of the water. No.
Listen, man. Listen, Dre.
He's got the frame. He's got the height. He can fit just fine at 147.
He like my man Alex just said, he got the frame. He got the height. But I want to drive you back to the Jose Benavidez fight. The man was shot in the knee, okay? This is not an excuse. His mobility was low. So Crawford was fighting a guy that could not get away. Listen, he didn't have that movement to be able to get away like that. And it took him almost the whole damn fight to stop him. Hold up, let me finish. Now you're talking about a guy, let me finish. Now you're talking about a guy who's not restricted with mobility, who has a high work rate. What are you talking about? Do you remember the Crawford versus Ndongo fight? So a guy that has a high work rate, what happens? They give Crawford issues. So how would Crawford blow a Josh Taylor out the water? You're not making sense here, bro. See, this is when you say shit like that. That's why I say,
okay, so you go and make a note about Benavidez and how Crawford and Benavidez fight was very close, and that's a reason behind that. Have you ever seen Benavidez, the dad, when he trains those guys? Man, that Benavidez before the leg injury was a great fighter. He was on the way up as becoming one of those top echelon fighters. And I really do truly believe that. That's why when he had the success he had versus Terence Crawford, you see the mobility was, if he could have moved laterally a little bit better, then I think that he possibly could have gave a loss to Terence Crawford, because he is a taller guy, because the way he fights at a good work rate and style, man. I love the way that the dad, man, go and check out some of those videos of the dad training those Benavidez guys. And you talk about somebody who could beat Canelo. Benavidez is going to be that guy. Watch.
Okay, well, let me go ahead and let me step into this in regards. Jose Benavidez is a good fighter because he's a very tall counter puncher. So he's waiting on your offense before he unloads. And so this is a guy that's much bigger than Terence. Terence Crawford had to come to him, had to initiate the offense, and had to break him down over the rounds. It really had nothing to do about lateral movement because he wasn't going to move that much in the fight anyway. That's not his style. That is not his style.
But I'm saying because of how stiff he is, it's not a natural motion. Come on, man.
Jose Benavidez gives anybody at 147 pounds a problem. Anybody. But since Terence Crawford beat him, it's a problem. Just like Postal, it's a problem. Just like Gamboa, it's a problem. Terence Crawford.
Credit for all that, except for now Gamboa was a guy. Come on, man. Gamboa coming up at 135 from Gamboa was fighting at 126.
It looks like Alex wants to jump in. Alex, speak to him, man. I see you got something on your mind. You look very interested in that comment.
Well, I mean, David Benavidez is a tough fighter. Jose Benavidez. Sorry,
David too.
But I mean, yeah, these guys. I mean, you're not gonna just walk through any of these guys hardly. I mean, that's not. There's levels, I mean, but it's, I like Josh Taylor and Crawford, but I think Crawford wins, but I think he has his hands full. I think it's a tough fight, a good challenge for him. I think the fight would probably come down to a power difference, but can't be sure in boxing. You never know, and but we'll see what happens if that happens.
And so look, we all know at the end of the day, that you look at a guy like Josh Taylor moving up from 140 to 147, he's a problem. Jose Benavidez is a problem at 147. Even after he got shot, even after all of that, he still came back with 2 knockout wins before he fought Terence Crawford. You act like the guy came back, fought Crawford, and you was like, oh my goodness, he came back with 2 knockout stoppage wins. Looked fantastically brilliant. I'm not saying he's 100%, but I'm saying his style, his height, there's nobody else at 147 that size doing that. Come on, Dre. And now you want to discredit Josh Taylor. Errol Spence Jr. struggled with Sean Porter, a guy that most people, including yourself, probably thought that he was going to blow Porter out of the water. And do you think that Errol Spence Jr. is on the same level as Terence Crawford, skill for skill?
Skill for skill, no.
And you would favor Terence Crawford above Errol Spence, skill for skill?
Terence Crawford over Earl Spence, skill for skill. The more skillful fighter is Terence Crawford. Okay.
Yes, and the better overall fighter is Terence Crawford.
Does that mean that he possibly the better overall fighter? You know, Earl Spence still has a lot to go. Terence Crawford has proven to me in lower weight classes that he is the more skillful fighter at this point in his career. Yes. I can agree with that. But what does that mean? Does that mean that Earl Spence gets beat by Terence Crawford? No.
That's exactly what that means, Dre. That's why you don't fight him at this weight class. You tried to put a caveat and say, oh, that's why he's shown in lower weight class. He showed it at 147 too. He came in and fought a Jeff Horn, the same Jeff Horn who roughed up Manny Pacquiao. Even if you had Manny winning the fight,
all Jeff Horn did in that fight. He roughed up Manny Pacquiao and stole a belt. Like, come on, man.
But did he do it no fight? He got dominated. He got dominated by Crawford. You don't want to give Crawford his credit for some reason.
No, I give Crawford his credit on every level.
At lower
I think Crawford has grew into the weight at 147. Now I think that he could beat I think he could beat Thurman. I thought he could beat Thurman, but I think that's the reason why he picked Thurman. I don't know if you remember when Terence Crawford first campaigned that he was coming up to 147. He did not call out Earl Spence. He called out Keith Thurman. He said,
whoa. I can't allow the foolishness to go on. The reason why he called out Keith Thurman was because he was a unified champion. He's going to always call out the guy who's the best. So you were trying to word it like, oh, he was avoiding Spence. He didn't really want him at first. About the
yes, because they asked him about Spence. Spence had a belt at that time. They asked him about Spence on ESPN. He said, no, I'd rather go and fight Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman is my focus. Keith Thurman, and he kept saying Keith Thurman name repetitively.
Because Keith was a unified champion and had the best resume. Now it's Errol Spence is the guy, and that's why he's been calling him out relentless. You can't produce a narrative. You got to speak facts.
He wasn't calling him out. He transitioned till he knew that I gotta fight this guy. It wasn't like he just came in like, oh, I want Earl Spence. They offered him Earl Spence on national TV. Keith Thurman. That's all he said.
Look, man, look. See, that's the thing. I'm a Spence fan, and you ain't being honest, bro. You're not being honest. And it's just like I said, Terence Crawford's a competitor. First and foremost, Terence Crawford called out every fucking body. That's a fact. No, hold up, man. It's my turn. First and foremost, he called out everybody. He wanted all that smoke, okay? Secondly, listen, bro, it's videos. It's receipts up. And because of a lot of Errol Spence fans like you, is why Terence Crawford wanted to fight Errol Spence, bro. Because of fans like you. Not sports fans like me, because of fans like you. That man wanted all that smoke. Errol Spence was the so-called boogeyman of the division, and that's who Terence Crawford wanted, bro. Admit it. Just accept it, bro. Accept it. A fellow Spence fan is trying to tell you, bro. Accept it, bro. Accept the truth. Here on IBFP Raw, we deliver the truth.
He was still at 140. When he was at 140, he only called out one guy at 147 at one point, and that was Danny Garcia. And I said Danny Garcia was scared to fight him because they had all the opportunity in the world when he was talking all that big bad stuff to go ahead and get that guy the shot to come up to 147 and fight him, right? So I thought that Danny Garcia was backing out of that fight because they had a good Twitter war that came, with a lot of expectation that they possibly were going to fight. That was the opportunity for y'all to, to make a big fight of it. And Danny Garcia, like he does, he steps to the back. He doesn't. I don't think Danny Garcia relishes competition. That guy's in it for the million. I think he said it in so many ways, encrypted in every video. That family, really are thinking about his future financially and making sure that Danny's okay. It's always Danny's okay, Danny this. I think that he's avoided some of the top fighters in his career, that he possibly could have even beat, but because of the way that they groom him as well. But okay, so he only had Terence Crawford had only called out Danny Garcia at 140, and that was because of their Twitter battle. Then he was speculating after becoming undisputed champion at 140, he was only calling out Keith Thurman. He didn't say, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, and Earl Spence, Danny Garcia. He really only called out Keith Thurman. And that's what I'm saying initially. How am I changing the narrative or how am I lying? That's all he was calling out when he was at 140, coming up to 147. Even when he started campaigning at 147, he was still hollering Keith Thurman when he came off the injury. But Keith Thurman ended up vacating. Things changed. And then all of a sudden, that's when, when really, you seen that he started calling out other opponents. And it became that Errol Spence narrative, that they had to fight anyway. That's when he wasn't calling out Keith Thurman no more, but he initially only wanted that Keith Thurman fight. He didn't come in the division saying, I want everybody. That was like a year later.
Well, the way I see it, Terence Crawford can really crack. I mean, the guy has got a great shot, great punch. Earl Spence Jr. is a good puncher. I question Earl Spence Jr. as being a devastating puncher. One reason I question that's the Mikey Garcia fight. Yeah, much smaller man. He could hit him flush. He hit him a lot. I know Garcia's tough.
Yeah, but he was fighting to survive Garcia. Well, he wasn't trying to win that fight. He was fighting to survive that fight.
But he still got caught with a lot of flush shots.
Yeah.
And I would have to favor Crawford in that fight.
I think it's a 50-50 fight.
I think D's on mute, but we're just going to keep it moving, Dre. Let's just change the topic because, at the end of the day, we know at 147 pounds, no one wants to fight Terence Crawford. And it's probably the most deflating thing there is. No one wants to fight him. No one wants to fight Terence Crawford. Dre, I don't know what you looking with that trapped in the closet look on your face is, man. Who wants to fight him? Who wants to fight him? Who wants to fight him?
I'm saying it has to be, you know what I mean? It has to be just the politics, man. Those guys are fighting each other. Man. I don't think none of those guys are really truly scared of each other. I think the most scariest guy at 147 was Earl Spence, and I think Sean Porter has made people think, hey, look, maybe I got a better chance with this guy now. Especially Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia, man, not wanting to step up and he wants to fight.
I would just really get ready to say, Nuke, I agree with you. Maybe we should move on because it ain't no talk consensus to this dude right now. Listen, bro, so you can't blame the politics on everything, okay? And another thing, like I said, coming from a Spence fan, if it walk like a duck, quack like a duck, it's a damn duck, bro. He ducked that smoke. Accept it, bro. Accept it and move on. Errol Spence ducked that smoke.
Terence Crawford started talking that A-side stuff about a month ago before Earl Spence and Sean Porter fought. And Earl Spence had, I think, a whole segment on one of those little PBC shows where he actually said he's the A-side. So it's they're jockeying for position to be the A-side of that mega fight.
Dre, the PBC are king of the A-side conversation. They always crying the damn A-side. Deontay Wilder fucking cried the A-side when AJ had 4 belts. So don't bring that to me, bro. Accept the facts. Spence duck, bro. You gotta accept that.
I'm saying there's gonna be politics and trying to make that fight. They know it's gonna be a mega fight. They're building up their store on ESPN. They're building up their store on Fox Sports. That's going to be a major fight when they finally do meet. It's going to be very important who that A-side fighter is. So if I got 3 belts versus if I have 2.
I don't, Dre, we're just going to leave that one where it is, man, because it sounds like you just hating on Terence Crawford for some reason. You got some animosity towards Terence Crawford. And so
I'm in Terence Crawford State. I'm about 30 miles away from Terence Crawford right now.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you this. This will prove everything I need to know. Did Errol Spence duck Terence Crawford? Yes or no?
No.
Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go.
He called him out first. He pulled up on him.
There it goes.
Look, do I need to pull up more receipts for you? Before I even pull up the receipts, I'll just tell you. Hold up. I'm gonna tell you just like this. You go on Fight Hype, right? And Errol Spence says out of his own mouth. This is why I'm calling him a ducker, even though he's my guy, bro. He's my guy too. But you go on Fight Hype and you listen to Errol Spence. He said, "What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and take this belt from Sean Porter, and then I'm coming back to the negotiation table to make that fight with Crawford, and then let's hear him talk 50-50. But he didn't do that. And since he didn't do that, it's a damn duck. See, receipts. I got receipts. That comes out of Errol Spence's mouth. Not no fucking politics. Not no Al Heyman. Not no Bob Arum. No politics, bro. Duck. Accept it. Duck. It's a duck, bro.
Okay.
Spence said it himself. You can't deny that. It's a duck, Drake.
After the Porter fight, what did Terence Crawford say they were going to do?
Forget about what Crawford said. Spence said after the Porter fight, I'm going to the negotiation table, and I don't want to hear 50-50. But he did not go to the negotiation table. He got up there on a press conference, and he talked about, I got plenty of options. I'll set me up for after boxing. I'll fight Danny. I can fight Pacquiao. He didn't go to the negotiation table like he said. That's a damn duck, bro. It's a duck. Accept it. It's a duck.
And Crawford has deferred so many times after fight. Hey, I'm gonna do whatever Bob Arum says. I'm gonna do whatever Bob Arum said. We ain't never called that a duck. He ain't never said that.
Keep referring to Crawford.
So now, unbiased or biased boxing talk want to get in on this, Dre, because for whatever reason, you just keep. I seen your Errol Spence poster in the back behind you. By the way, you gave me a nice camera shot of it. I can tell that you really, really do not want to believe facts. You said what happened after the fight? Didn't he tell Errol Spence to pull his panties down? Did that not happen? Or am I just imagining things? You look confused again. What's with this R. Kelly trapped in a closet look on your face?
Okay. And these are all, that's a recent fight, but I'm saying go back a couple fights. He wasn't calling out no Errol Spence. He was saying Bob Arum. This talk about Errol Spence didn't just start like this year. They talk about Errol Spence started like, I can go up on YouTube, show videos from 3 years ago when they was talking about these guys have to fight each other when he was still at 140. So this didn't just, but he just started talking about Errol Spence. He has no other choice. This year, he has no other choice. What are the top fights that he can get? He can't get another fight. So, but on the other side, they building something with PBC as far as them being able to match up these guys for pay-per-view events. They're gonna cash in on that money. They building him as a pay-per-view star. He's gonna be the A side of any fight. Terence Crawford cannot sell a pay-per-view fight.
Hold on, Terence Crawford can sell a fight that doesn't need to be sold.
Not.
Hold on.
He needs an opponent to sell a fight.
Sell a fight that doesn't need to be sold. Intangible, what's up, bro?
What's up? How's it going? You guys talking Crawford Spence?
Yeah. Do you want to jump in on this?
Well, my brief opinion is that Errol Spence has never really showed any sort of. First of all, is my mic okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think that Errol Spence was ever eager to fight Terence Crawford, and Terence Crawford has always shown that he'll fight anybody. He's always commented he'll fight Keith Thurman. Okay, I remember he went on First Take before he entered the welterweight division. He said, "Bring on Keith Thurman." Then Stephen A. Smith asked him about Errol Spence. He said, "Well, once I get done with Keith Thurman, or if Errol Spence beats Keith Thurman, bring him on to me." Okay. He stated a little bit ago, he said he wanted Sean Porter. Sean Porter then reversed it back to, "Oh, we're friends. We got to negotiate." So Sean Porter, as of recently, he hasn't shown very much enthusiasm into facing Terence Crawford. Keith Thurman stated that Terence Crawford ain't done shit at welterweight, and he's not going to fight him. And Manny Pacquiao and Bob Arum stated that Manny Pacquiao's team needed to be kept away from Crawford, as he stated out of his own mouth. It's a death sentence. Let's see here. Yeah, Mikey Garcia ducked him at 140 when they're, or at 135 when they were both at top rank. It's an extensive list, bro.
And thank you. And let's get Unbiased or Biased Boxing Talk. He really wanted to get at you, Dre, for the comments you made. Unbiased, go ahead and do what you got to do, man.
Okay, well, I mean, there's a couple of things that you're just misconstruing. Okay, Terence Crawford definitely called out Errol Spence when he got to the welterweight division. He said, I want all of the champions. He's been saying he wants to fight Spence, but we don't even need to talk about what Terence Crawford said. Let's talk about what Errol Spence said. He went on Black Fight Fans TV's channel and said, that Bud fight, it'll happen, when I want it to happen. Bob Arum's on my time. That sounds like a duck to me. That's the same thing that Gervonta Davis is saying about Lomachenko. And also on top of that, the vice president of PBC has came out and said, Errol Spence doesn't need to fight Terence Crawford. We have so many people on this side. And on top of that, the Fox executive just recently said the same thing that the vice president of PBC said. Hold on, let me think about. Floyd came out and said, that fight, we're not going to make it happen. We're going to let it marinate. I don't know why you're looking like you're lost or something, but these are facts. So everything that you're saying is opinion, but I'm hitting you with nothing but facts. So I'm just waiting for your response. Go ahead.
You talking to me? So, yeah. With all that said, I'm still speaking that is all politics, man. That's not the fighter saying that they don't really want to fight. These guys want to fight each other. They're not. That's not ducking. That, you know what I mean? Like, y'all are making it seem like he's saying, I don't want to fight. It's not because he's good or they're not fighting because their networks are not willing to make that fight. You just said that exec came out for PBC and said that they don't need to fight Terence Crawford.
What about what Errol Spence said? What about what Errol Spence said? What about that? That you glossed over that one.
Narrative. Okay, Al Heyman is his what? His advisor. Because Al Heyman is not.
Okay, so then what? But Errol Spence, is he the fighter? Is Errol Spence the fighter?
I'm coming.
Neither one of these guys, Earl Spence.
No, just answer the question. You tried to use. Hold on. You tried to use what I said about the PBC and the Fox executives. But what about Errol Spence saying the same thing that they said? Isn't Errol Spence the fighter? Can you explain that one?
He is relaying the same information given to him the same way he knew.
Okay. But that's not ducking then. But
okay. All right.
Okay, but that's not ducking.
It's not. All right, man. That's
okay. Ducking. All right. Okay.
Ducking the fighter.
But you said it was politics, and because of the execs and the PBC and the fighter is not saying that. But then I gave you an example of what the fighter said, Errol Spence, and now you're saying that he's just saying what the executives are saying. So what exactly is your point? So if it's not the fighter,
every time Errol Spence doesn't always say everything that he wants to say. A lot of times especially when he's giving information, he is saying the stuff that Al Heyman has told him. Just like I said, he already knew he was going to get the win out of Sean Porter versus Danny Garcia. The same way how we already knew that Danny Garcia was going to be forced to fight Keith Thurman, because it was always Errol Spence was trickling that information out before they even announced the fight. He was like, they're going to fight next. He knew who was going to fight next because their advisors are telling him what they plan to do.
Well, I mean, there's always money involved. There's always promotion to be considered. But the
boxing
end of the day,
and you don't investment or things of that nature.
These guys fight somebody.
Hold on, Dre. You have to get back on, man. I can't hear you.
You'll probably get it.
Hey, and also, Canelo, he didn't allow what his promoter said to get in the way of fighting Erislandy Lara, right? So why is he fought Triple G twice?
He ducked Triple G.
Yeah, hold on.
But okay.
What Dre Spector?
He vacated a whole belt.
But that makes no sense if you still fought him twice.
I say he ducked him before you can duck somebody before you actually fight him.
But he fought him twice. So are you saying
Evander Holyfield ducked Tyson for 10 years?
All I know is you said that it's politics because the executives and the vice president of PBC was the examples I gave, and then I said Earl Spence, who's a fighter, and you're saying that he's just being coerced to say what the vice president is saying. So I mean, initially, you just contradicted yourself. So yeah,
I think he's a little lost right now. Unbiased.
What are we talking about? What are we talking about? I just timed in. What are we talking about?
Hold on. Dre, get out and come back in. Get out and come back in. There's a lot of static going on your end. DT3, basically we're talking about if Terence Crawford, if Errol Spence ducked him or not. That's really what all this is talking about. But
that's a question?
That's what I'm saying.
That's
Andrew Tucker.
That's a okay. That's a question. I'm upset that that's a question.
If the fighter wants to fight, they'll make the fight happen. The only one I've heard call him out is Terence Crawford.
Facts. Hey, look, let me. Oh, go ahead, Alex.
So I understand there's politics, but if a fighter wants to fight, he can make it happen. He's got a voice. We got all this media around. He can make it happen. He can put the guy on the spot so bad that he has to get in the ring with him and fight him.
Tell his people that's the fight he wants. Scream it from the rooftops. Whatever you got to do, you can get the fight.
When it goes one way and it's not coming back the other, it does look like something. I'm not saying Spence is physically scared of Crawford because at that level, I don't know. You know, those guys.
Yeah, I don't think none of these guys are scared to punch each other in the face.
Right,
but
yeah.
with the old must not go dumb shit, that's what they're scared to lose stock. They're scared to lose their belt. They're scared to lose their undefeated record. But to punch each other in the face, no, I'm not putting that on any of these fighters. They're competitors. They got the nerve to get up in the ring and fight. So it's not that. But you're afraid to lose something. That's why you duck. But let me say this about my man Dre that just came up here. Shout out to you. Much respect to you for stepping up to the competition. But just like the same other fool that came up here with that nonsense, you got cooked. Cooked.
And I just want to introduce to everybody, man. On the chat, we got DT3 the Boom, man. Just keep punching boxes. These guys have some of the most knowledgeable breakdowns, boxing, most informative. If you're a casual boxing fan like Dre Spector, you should go to Just Keep Punching so you can learn about boxing. That's what Dre Spector should do. He should go to Just Keep Punching, learn what boxing is, have a good understanding of boxing, then come back and have a chat with us. Because I think he's lost. DT3 the Boom, man. Andrew Tucker World. These guys are probably some of the most knowledgeable heavyweight boxing analysts there is. Andrew Tucker, let's get your prediction for the Luis Ortiz versus Deontay Wilder fight real quick.
What's up, Drew?
Man, before I get it, what's going on, my brother DT3, the Boom, man. Just keep punching. I see you, D Jefferson. Yes, sir. My brother Nuke, IBFP. Yes, sir. Unbiased, most definitely. Much shout out to the UGC, NBBC. We in here. But listen, man, y'all know damn well. Hold on, man. I'm sorry. That dude really. I had to get on here. When Terence Bud Crawford and Earl Spence Jr. bumped heads when they met up with each other, I forgot what event it was. I forgot the event, but y'all know what I'm talking about. When they bumped heads, you know what I'm saying? When they it was 1-on-1. Earl Spence Jr. himself, he said he had other fights lined up, like other fights like what? Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter. Terence Crawford asked him, like, what about me? They ain't talk about me, huh? They ain't mention me, huh? No, they didn't mention Terence Crawford, but they sure did mention Mikey Garcia. They mentioned Sean Porter, but it wasn't Terence Bud Crawford. So you telling me Terence Bud Crawford been calling out Earl Spence Jr. He called out Earl Spence Jr. plenty of times. And the reason why he called out at the time Keith Thurman, because Keith Thurman was the number one welterweight in the welterweight division. He was unified welterweight champion. That's the reason why Terence Crawford just moving up to 104 before he even moved up to 147 pounds. That's the reason why Terence Bud Crawford called out Keith Thurman, because he was the number one guy. He was the number one man. But the last time I checked, Terence Bud Crawford called all their asses out. Like, let's keep it real. He called all the top 5 welterweights. He called all of them out. So this dude saying that Terence Crawford didn't call out this fighter, didn't call out that fighter. No, Terence Crawford wanted smoke with all those fighters, all the top 5 welterweights. Correct me if I'm wrong.
All facts. And welcome back to the chat, R. Kelly. You came out of the closet. He's ready to get smoked again. DT3, Andrew Tucker. Oh, it looks like he dropped right back out. And look, let's be honest and unbiased. We all know he ducked. We all know, but it's not even a question anymore. It's not even a question. Unbiased or biased boxing talk just bodied this guy. We all know what's going on, but we're just gonna move off that topic because it's a done topic. Let's get you guys breakdown on who wins this fight tonight. Luis Ortiz, Deontay Wilder. How do you see it?
Hey, real quick, Nuke.
Okay.
Andrew. I appreciate you, Nuke. I gotta run, take my daughter to her grandmother's house, but it's always a pleasure, bro. I love IBFP Raw. Everybody in the chat, if you're not subscribed, subscribe right now. Love it, man. DT3, Andrew Tucker. Just keep it punching, guys. I'm gonna come sub to y'all too. Y'all take care, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Much love and respect, my brother. Love you,
All right,
man.
D.
All right, my niggas. All right.
All right. So what you got, Andrew? How you see it?
So we talking about the Wilder and Ortiz fight, huh?
Yes, sir. And
I'm gonna say this. Ortiz is in better. I'm gonna just keep it real, because y'all know who I am, man. And that's how we do it. You know what I'm saying? Ortiz is in better shape than he was in the first fight. I know we got to look at age. I know father time sometimes catches up to you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people can look at that, to look at the age, and but I'm gonna just be honest with you. He's in better shape than he was in the first fight. You know what I'm saying? And Ortiz still is the same fighter. I mean, you look at the last couple of fights, and you be like, it was somewhat of a decline. It took him a harder time to get his opponents out of there. You look at him, he slowed down a little bit. But, I feel like it's always, I feel he had enough time to really, come back and really prepare the right way and train his ass off and train hard for a fight. Even at 40 years old, I still feel that he can still be in there and still compete and still give Wilder a hard time, a tough fight. And I believe, like I said before in the video, he's in better shape than he was in the first fight. So I know the endurance, stamina, conditioning, everything, cardio, I mean, all of that, what I'm saying? So he's been working hard, preparing for this fight. And let's just keep it real. We know that, when it comes to Wilder Ortiz, we know who the better boxer. You know what I'm saying? Ortiz is a patient fighter, so he likes to set traps. He's a counterpuncher. And he's also a big puncher as well. He also has power. So let's not forget that. You know what I'm saying? So, but we know that Wilder is athletic. He's fast. Timing is not that great, but he's fast. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I believe, timing beats speed. And I believe that Ortiz, timing is not bad. He has good timing. So all he got to do is set Wilder up, and set those traps. And yes, the only thing I can say, I hope he, worked on, getting out the way of that right hand. If he can get out the way of that right hand and avoid what Wilder is trying to do, then I believe it's going to be a tough fight, and I believe it's going to be a long night for Wilder. But let's just hope that Father Time don't catches up to Ortiz. I mean, the longer the fight goes, I'm gonna have to be honest. I have to give it to Wilder. The longer the fight goes, because we know Wilder's younger, and we know that Wilder, has great stamina, endurance, and things of that nature. And he always come in lighter. He's always the lighter fighter for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, it's just all about being in great shape. No matter if Ortiz bigger than Wilder or not, it's all about being in great shape. And I believe Ortiz is in great shape, man, in great shape for this fight, conditioning and everything. So I'm not even looking at age. People can look at age, but at the same time, if you train hard and be in perfect tip-top shape, you know what I'm saying, put your body in a position where you can be able to go 12 rounds and shit. If it was still 15 rounds in these days, shit, I believe the man probably can go 15 rounds because he was working so hard and in the training camp and preparing his body to get ready and prepared, you know what I'm saying, for 12 rounds. But this fight not going 12 rounds. That's just my prediction. But I believe Ortiz has a chance to win this fight. Even though I favor Wilder to win the fight, people saying that Wilder's going to come in this fight and just really dominate and just really stop Ortiz in the early rounds. I don't see it that way. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't see it that way. I think Ortiz is still a challenge. It's still a tough fight for Deontay Wilder. Anything can happen in the heavyweight division. That's why I love the heavyweight division. Is my favorite sport because anything can happen. When you have two top dangerous fighters, two top fighters on the level of these guys, you know what I'm saying, in the heavyweight division, I'm just talking about top 10, top 5. You know what I'm saying? When you have two guys and that's in their position, anything can happen when you have two big punchers and two dangerous fighters. Ortiz has a chance to win this fight. Even though I favor Wilder to win, Ortiz still has a chance because he's the better boxer. If he make adjustments, be smart, and just take away, offset Wilder with good boxing, but take away that right hand, then I feel he can win the fight.
Okay, good breakdown, Andrew. I appreciate that. DP3, what's your thoughts on this fight, brother? I don't know if DT3 still there. DT.
There he is.
My thoughts, I mean, is completely different than Andrew. I'm in the camps. I've been watching what Wilder does in his camp, how he's training. All Wilder is really doing, what they showing is really he's just doing a bunch of strength and conditioning. That's all Wilder do is strength and conditioning. He has good stamina because he only throws like maybe 5 punches per round. So he's not using a lot of gas in the tank when he fights. And usually fighters go down in the later. He gets fighters out there in the later rounds because they didn't already use up most of their steam. But I think Ortiz basically did him a whole fat count. I think, oh boy, IBFP can answer this question for me. Who is the guy, I forgot his name, that's supposed to be Ortiz's strength and conditioning coach? What is his name? He was Sean Porter's strength and conditioning coach as well. And I think he's draining him. I think he's draining him. I think he's going to deplete him. I think he's going to basically put all his energy in the fight in camp. That's it. And I think that's where he's going to lose the fight because he's going to put everything in camp. And when it's comes,
Wilder 220.
Wilder is thicker.
Whoo.
That hammer is going to be bigger. You know I'm saying? So with that hammer being big, yeah, I think he's getting him out of there in 2 rounds. I mean, if it goes 3, it's not going no more than 3, but I got him getting him out of there in 2. I think Ortiz is going to come after him the first round a little bit better. I think Ortiz is going to throw more overhand rights. And I think that's the only thing that could give Ortiz the edge is stepping to his right and throwing overhand lefts. If he does that because Wilder is lazy with his right hand, then I think he could catch him, but he has to set it up, though. If he doesn't set it up or set up traps like what Andrew said, basically set traps for him, if he doesn't do that, you're not going to get Wilder out of there. And I don't see him doing that to Wilder. I think Wilder is going to catch him early, and all the training he did is going to basically go against him, and he's going to be gone in 2 rounds. I got Wilder in 2, man.
2 rounds. Alan, anything you guys want to add to that?
Boy.
Yeah, I'd like to say Andrew and Boone are both right on the money, I think, in their regard to this fight. One thing, heavyweights can get away with fighting older than other weight divisions. It's just the nature of the beast. I mean, they can fight at a later age and still be very dangerous. Ortiz needs to make adjustments. I think he needs to be able to be a little more bend in his knees and come in under those right hands of Wilder. Counter with the right jab, come back over the top with that left. If he stands real straight up, he's liable to get clocked by Wilder and not go well. But I do favor Ortiz in this fight personally. I know I'm going out on a limb a little bit.
You're going on a limb. To me.
I'm willing to do it. I think Ortiz is going to is going to shock it.
I think Deontay Wilder is going to go out there. He's going to finish the job quicker. I can see this fight having the potential. Ortiz is a southpaw, so this doesn't necessarily play exactly. But if you go back and watch Max Baer versus Joe Louis.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, Deontay Wilder, to me, he's like the modern-day Max Baer. He likes to throw them big shots, put his body in everything he throws. And Joe Louis, what he did was he closed the distance on him. It was a bigger, taller guy. Ortiz is 6'3", Deontay Wilder 6'7", and he more or less made it a dogfight. He got on the inside of him and let his shots go, and he got to the punch got to Baer before Baer's punch got to Louis, and he knocked out Max Baer. And if you watch the first fight, Ortiz, although he was hurt, he was never out. He does have a good chin. I don't care what anybody says. He's got a good chin. He went down, but it was more of a stun than an out. He wasn't knocked cold. He wasn't Dominic Brazil. He took the shot a lot better than those guys took it. A lot better.
I like the Max Baer comparison. I like that. Max Baer.
And we might be seeing the oldest champion in the world tonight. They might be George Foreman's record unofficially, because there's a lot of debate on Ortiz's age coming out again.
He might be 45.
It might be over. Some say he's like 48, 49. George Foreman was 45, so we might be seeing history tonight too if he wins the fight. We just might not know it. That might come out later, you know.
Yeah. And one thing too is that, generally speaking, in boxing, both of these guys are big punchers, and when you got two big punchers against each other, I kind of go toward the guy that throws the more laser straight punch than the guy that's got the wilder, literally the wilder shot.
Right.
But you got to watch those wild shots, because they slip out of your peripheral vision and come in and catch you too.
And the only thing that I say about,
man, he's dangerous the whole fight.
Well, DT, the only thing I think about this with Wilder and Ortiz is I think that Deontay Wilder's on borrowed time. And this is the why I say that. It's because he's gotten away with so many fights being able, and most of these guys can't box or fight. I mean, don't have a hard enough punch to put him away before he can find him with that right hand. Gerald Washington was outboxing him, didn't have the power to put him away early. Simply, that's what cost him the fight. That's why the Anthony Joshua versus Wilder fight is a fight everybody wanted to see, because AJ had the boxing pedigree and the power to put him away early. Deontay Wilder's on time. He's going to run into a puncher that's going to hit him with a shot, or it's going to walk him into a trap that he doesn't see, and he's going to get him out of there. If Tyson Fury had the power of Anthony Joshua, he would have got stopped. Deontay Wilder got stopped that fight. He simply needs to run into a boxer with the power and the size to get him out of there. It's really that simple. It's really that simple.
Does Deontay Wilder have that one thing? Does he got the thing like Marciano had when he was getting the crap whooped out of him by Jersey Joe Walcott for 14 rounds and he knocked him cold? Does he got that? Does he always find the way? I know in that Tyson Fury fight it was close. I thought Fury won personally on boxing ability, but I don't know. Maybe it's there, maybe it's not. We'll find out.
To me, also, Wilder's one of those guys. I hate to use the word luck in boxing, and I'm not going to use the word luck. But I will say he's one of them guys that it's like the guy that falls ass backwards into money all the time. You try to sell a car for $3,500, you're lucky if you can get $50. This guy asks, $10,000 and he gets it the first day. I mean, he's just one of those guys. He pulls it through right when he needs to. And
I think that with Wilder in the money situation, I think to him he's cool. I think to him, the $3 million is generational wealth. I mean, I know that might sound stupid or dumb, but coming from where he's come from, in his defense, that's all I'm saying, his defense, he's thinking that he's cool, he's good. His kids are taken care of, his kids aren't wanting for anything. In a sense, he's, from what it looks like, he's very content and happy with his life. So we looking at him not taking these big paydays, but if you look at Wilder, he's really actually content with taking the money that he's taking. So, I mean, maybe he knows something we don't. I'm sure he do in some instance, but it's something going on why he's not taking those big major paydays, man. But he looks very content.
Wow. So hold on. So Thomas, so it is $3 million he's receiving. That's his purse, right?
Correct.
Yep.
That's his guaranteed purse.
Yep.
Wow.
And you got to understand, this is the same Deontay Wilder that asked, for 50-50 split with Anthony Joshua for him to get in the ring. And now, after Anthony Joshua lost to Andy Ruiz, he comes back and says, hey, if I get past, this guy, I really kind of want Fury to step aside so I can fight the Ruiz-Joshua winner. So now you think you see a vulnerability, but what he's seeing is the wrong thing. A lot of people are writing Anthony Joshua off in this Andy Ruiz fight. They act like it's not close. They act like Andy Ruiz is just going to bring him his kryptonite. Andy Ruiz is a very dangerous fighter for Anthony Joshua because of his hand speed, because of his work on the inside. But that was something that Anthony Joshua will anticipate and will not make those same mistakes. You have to understand, Andy Ruiz was dropped by Top Rank because Bob Arum said he didn't have elite knockout power. He's just not that big of a puncher. It's the accumulation of shots that get to you. And it was the shot in the temple into the back of the head that laid Anthony Joshua out. I'm sorry. I have to be honest, Andrew. I have to be honest. What do you think, Andrew?
Repeat that again, Newt.
I think it was a temple shot and a shot to the back of the head that wore Anthony Joshua out in that fight with Andy Ruiz ultimately. The fact that he tried to jump on Andy Ruiz when Andy Ruiz was not done yet. He dropped him and he tried to attack him. The first 2 rounds, he won those rounds and he won them clean off boxing. He has the better footwork over Andy Ruiz Jr. I mean, what do you think about that, Andrew?
When I said it, like I said in the video, man, if you go back and watch the first fight, Anthony Joshua, something was going on with Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua wasn't 100% himself mentally and physically. Something was going on. Honestly, I'm just keeping it real, man. I mean, I'm just keeping it real. People can agree, they can disagree, it's whatever. But at the same time, I'm telling you, even in the first 3 rounds, Anthony Joshua was outboxing. If you pay close attention to that fight, Anthony Joshua was outboxing Andy Ruiz Jr. And he did something I loved. I loved what Anthony Joshua did. He set him up. He set him up for that knockdown. When he knocked him down in the 3rd round, he set him up nicely for that knockdown. But he was outboxing and working the jabbing to the body, jabbing to the head, caught him with a few good hooks. Like Anthony Joshua was doing everything right, and we still wasn't the same fighter we used to seeing. Honestly, he made like he was just outboxing. She was showing that he was the better fighter in the first 3 rounds of the fight. Honestly. So I know all Anthony Joshua has to do is go back, and I know he's going to make adjustments this time. I know this time he'll be 100% prepared mentally and physically. So for all the people that saying he's broken, that he's done, that he's talking reckless, he's all over the place just because he's speaking his mind, they honestly, these guys acting like they don't know boxing or they just hate Anthony Joshua. We got to remember how skilled of a fighter that Anthony Joshua is. All you got to do is watch how Anthony Joshua trains. Look at the things he does. He does everything a complete fighter is supposed to do. And we talking about a strong guy also with punching power. A guy that can the things they saying he's robotic, and no, he's not. All you got to do is go back and watch some of his old fights and look at the things he was able to do as a skilled fighter, as a professional fighter. So the thing is, they just don't want to give this man his credit. They talking about this guy, but at the same time, you can say Anthony Joshua is this, but you're gonna in the same sentence, you're gonna say that Deontay Wilder is this elite great fighter. We already know he's not as skilled fighter as Anthony Joshua. You know what I'm saying?
Andrew, hold on, Andrew. I don't want to interrupt you, but this is the same Deontay Wilder that was not interested in fighting any Klitschko's. Just remember that. He was not interested in fighting any Klitschko's. If we're just being honest about it, he was not, right, DT? I mean, am I wrong on this?
That's true. You're true. You're right. I could also ask the panel this. Have y'all really peeped how they're portraying Wilder's career now? Have you looked at how they've played everybody with Wilder's career? And I'm not saying like because of the Bumsey's fault. They have plagued him to where he has the same amount of title defenses. If he beats Luis Ortiz, he will be able to be mentioned with the same amount of title defenses of Muhammad Ali, who had 10 title defenses. Joe Louis, who had, I think, 18 or 20 title defenses or whatever. They'll mention his name with them, right, so they can say that, you know, he's really great. So they are going to use that as a claim to say that he's great, regardless of who he fought. You still got to be like, well, he defended the belt this many times. He's great because his name is up there with Muhammad Ali. Blah blah blah. He'll tie Muhammad Ali if he beats Luis Ortiz. So they're going to compare him. They're literally going to start comparing Deontay Wilder to Muhammad Ali
That's terrible. That's terrible. Alex and Alan.
That's crazy.
That's like saying the curse word.
That's crazy.
You gotta watch fight camp. Watch the fight. I saw it on their fight camp when they said that Deontay Wilder has 9 title defenses, and they mentioned all the other heavyweights throughout time that had the most title defenses. And if Deontay Wilder defeats Luis Ortiz, it is stated that he will be mentioned within having the same amount of title defenses as Muhammad Ali. So they'll try to compare them as all-time greats.
Well, to me,
so you're gonna have to deal with that.
Like slapping your mama or something.
Wow.
Right?
Wow, bro. It's crazy, but
now,
honestly,
they played us with his career. If you look at his career for real, they really kind of played us. You know what I'm saying? And we want to be like, he didn't fight nobody. Well, Wilder's great. He did as many title defenses as Ali, and he's so great. It's like, bruh, all right.
Well, look, I mean, in pro boxing, I'm not saying this about Wilder per se, but you can build. I'm 51 years old. If I wanted to build a record tomorrow over the next year of 39-0 with 39 knockouts, that can happen. I mean, all you got to do is give me guys that are 0-8, guys that are 1-13. So, I mean, there's more to it than just the record. I mean, the numbers on the record. And to compare Deontay Wilder to Ali or Joe Louis is that's a tragedy.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. And honestly, man, you know, look how Wilder's been a professional boxer for 12 years, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm just going to keep it real. He's been a professional boxer for 12 years. He had plenty of opportunities to fight fighters like Alexander Povetkin, fighters like Vladimir Klitschko. Wilder may be fooling them, but he's not fooling real, true boxing fans like us. No. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, this is a fact. Vladimir Klitschko he was sparring. He had a couple of sparring sessions with Wilder, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I'm saying? So Wilder knew what time it was when it came to Vladimir Klitschko. Why he didn't take the fight? Why? Because he knew that Vladimir Klitschko is not just only a big puncher. Vladimir Klitschko is a very dangerous fighter with boxing skills. So that's the reason why Wilder wasn't so interested in fighting a Vladimir Klitschko. How dangerous that fight, and you know, hold on, fighters that get upset into veteran fighters.
Andrew, hold on 1 second. Now, the reason he didn't want that fight is Shelly Finkel came out and said that Deontay Wilder was still at a prospect level, even though he had almost 30 fights, I believe. So
33.
33. So how does that even make sense? And you're going to mention this guy with the name of these legends? That's nonsense. That's why he's on borrowed time. He's not.
No, but what makes things even worse, he didn't even want to fight an old, washed up, after he got beat, depressed Shannon Briggs. He dug Shannon Briggs when he was old and depressed after he lost to Klitschko. Like, and you were young, Wilder, too.
Wow, bro, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Shannon Briggs was at the end of his rope when he wanted to fight Wilder, and I think Wilder could have beat Shannon Briggs just on the fact that Shannon Briggs was at the end of his rope. Like he was just trying to fight for the sake of a check. So I think Wilder could have really, that'd have been a good name to have on your resume. I mean, he had opportunities to fight people that I think he could have beat. Like, I don't think he could have beat Klitschko, but I think he could have beat an old, washed-up Shannon Briggs. I said he could beat Dillian White before Dillian White even fought Chisora, all that shit. I was like, Wilder could beat Dillian White. He should just fight him, get it over with, knock his ass out, be done with the shit. Nah, didn't want to do it. Does Dillian White, freezes him for fucking 3 years. Didn't make no sense, bro. Like, if Wilder, he make you not want to believe in him. Because the stuff that you believe he could do, he don't even believe he could do the shit because he ain't out here doing it.
Big facts.
Exactly, bro.
And we're going to wrap it up right now, fellas. We're all going to give everybody a final say. Speak on anything you want. We're going to kick it to Just Keep Punching first. You know, if you guys haven't heard of Just Keep Punching, these are two of the smartest guys out here. Andrew Tucker, DT3. I think you should subscribe to these guys. These gentlemen are very, very intelligent when it comes to boxing. But Just Keep Punching, would you like the final word? Say anything you want, and let them know where to find you.
We're at Just Keep Punching on YouTube. And as far as the fight tonight, I'm going to stick with my Ortiz prediction. I know I'm going out on a limb a little bit, but I just got a little bit besides all logic, I got a little gut feeling maybe Ortiz will pull it off. And it's been great being on here, Nuke. We really appreciate what you're doing here, and you've been a great host. And thank you, Andrew. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, DT3. A bunch of great guys in here. We've really enjoyed working with you and talking with you. And
we don't get to talk to people very much who know this,
know what they're talking
know
about.
what they're talking about with boxing. So we really appreciate it. If you want to watch this one, just keep punching on YouTube. But thank you, Nuke. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Nice to meet you, Andrew and Boom Man.
Nice to meet you guys.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you coming on, man. You guys have been fantastic, and you guys are always welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. See y'all later.
See you guys.
See you later, brothers. Much love and respect, man.
All right,
thank you.
Andrew, you want to kick it to him? Tell him where to find you. Give us the final thoughts.
Yeah, my final thought, man, is anything can happen. Upsets can happen. It's been some upsets in the sport of boxing, whether it's heavyweight, super middleweight, no matter weight class, there's been some upsets, in boxing. So it could be an upset tonight,
Yes, he had to go.
Yeah, I think put that on him. But I will say, Andrew Tucker World, look that up. This brother's a great, great analyst. DT3, you want to give us the final thoughts, my brother?
Yeah, man, you already know, man, what it is, man. I'm just going with my boy Wilder. I know y'all think I be hating on Wilder, but I fuck with Wilder on the under, but he just say dumb shit. That's why I don't fuck with him like that. And he's not a good representation of the country. He make us look bad in some ways. But I'm going with him tonight because I think he's going to come in. He look sharp. When I seen him in camp, he looks pretty good. He looks better than, I ain't gonna lie. And this, you got me on IBFP's Raw right here, quoted. This is the best Wilder I've ever seen in camp.
Woo!
Every camp I've seen Wilder in, this is literally the best I've seen him as far as like his, because I've accepted his style. I've literally come to just accept Wilder gonna be who he is. It's just what it is. So I'm looking at him being a better version of the style. And from what I've seen in this camp, because last camp, hell no, I didn't see it. But this camp, I think this is the best Wilder I've ever seen. I think he's going to throw more combinations. I think you're going to see a couple of more. I think you're going to see some left hooks. You're going to see some uppercuts. You're going to see punches come from different angles with Wilder this fight, I believe. That's why I say he's going to get him out of there in 2 rounds. Because Wilder is going to show that he can do a lot more than just punch with his right hand. If I'm right, if what I'm seeing is right, I think he's going to show a little more, which is going to make the Wilder Reds be all happy, give them something to brag about and all that. But at the same time, I still believe if you have the right type of ring IQ and you set Wilder up right, you can get him out of there because Wilder can be hit and Wilder's style is still fundamentally flawed. But tonight, I'm going with the Bronze Bomber, Alabama Slammer, Deontay Wilder in 2 rounds. Now, looking for the channel, you can subscribe to my channel on DT3 the Boom Man. Follow me on Instagram at DT_Boom. And follow me on Twitter at DBoyWSO, man. You already know who it is, man. It's your boy DT.
Hold on, DT. One second, DT. One last question for you, D.
What's up?
What do you think about this Floyd coming back stuff one more time?
I was trying to hold back on that because I saw where y'all was at, so I didn't want to bring that up. But what I was on, I'm happy because he's really. I shit on Floyd a lot, but the fact that Floyd Mayweather coming back, the fact that when I heard the news that it was actually true, I felt good. I didn't feel like, oh man, what Floyd, sit your ass down. Like I felt like, yes, that's what's up. We finna see Mayweather Pack 2. Like it's finna happen. Like, and he looking in shape, he looking ripped, he looking right. Oh yeah. What I was pissed about was Wilder shitting on that, saying that Floyd is trying to take his shine and shit because they announced that his fight week. And I feel like that's Wilder hate. Wilder hate because he's talking about Floyd Mayweather never passed me the torch and all that. And it's like, bro, he didn't have to pass you no torch. He didn't have to do nothing. He's Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? He is boxing. And you got to understand, Wilder, what you've said and what you've represented goes against who Floyd Mayweather is. You said fuck boxing. You said fuck skill. You said fuck all that. So you mean to tell me all the work Floyd Mayweather put in throughout his whole life, you said fuck that. That's what you said. And Floyd heard that. So all the work I didn't put in, all the trials and tribulations I didn't got in from training with my dad being hard on me, giving me hell. You saying all that was for nothing. You saying fuck all that. All the bullshit I had to go through to get to where I'm at today. You saying fuck that? Yeah, fuck you too, Wilder. I ain't got to pass your shit. And I respect Floyd for that. I respect Floyd for that. And I give Floyd shit, but I respect Floyd for that on some real talk.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? I think, Floyd coming back, with all this being said, if he picks somebody dangerous, then I think I'll be interested. If it's just another publicity stunt, I have no interest.
Agreed. I ain't paying for that shit.
That's it. And, I just, DT, you want to advertise the show tonight?
Yeah, man. You got DT Magnus, Boxing Talk Podcast 105, MBBC United. All MBBC will be in the building. It'll be post Wilder fight. So if you want to bring your thoughts in about what you thought about the fight, how the knockout happened, because somebody get knocked out. That's all I'm gonna say. So come in and talk about how whoever got knocked out. We keeping it all boxing. All MBBC members will be in attendance. If you have any questions for any one of those guys, feel free to come in and ask. They'll be there. And I just want to thank IBFP for all he's done for the movement, all he's done to help your boy DT3, because the MBBC movement would not be what it is without your boy Boxing Nuke, aka IBFP, man. So I want to send a special shout out to you and thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. It's always love from me to you, bro.
And I appreciate that, DT. And there's one more thing that goes along with the NBBC, and that's the UGC.
Exactly. All day.
It's just like peanut butter and jelly. You don't have one without the other. That's a true family of unbiased people giving you something without narrative, without anything. It's just giving you 100% facts, truth, and it's absolute free smoke. So if you haven't heard of DT3 the Boom Man, look him up. Unbiased or Biased Boxing Talk, look him up. It is fire content. Everybody's bringing you the real stuff, and we're just trying to bring you the truth unbiased. If you have a problem or you want to debate, step in and we'll debate you any time.
Holla at your boy.
Absolutely. DT, you got to give him one of those God squads, my brother.
You already know what it is, man. It's your boy, DT3, New Media, Notification Gang, God Squad. It's what it is, man. 100. I'm going.
Salute.